to many people in Europe or England, Ireland particularly, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, all the foreign raiders coming across. I think there are still almost 10 international raiders still in contention for the Melbourne Cup this year. So certainly the pinnacle of our event, of the racing industry, and this is certainly the pinnacle of the showing world.
Well, we're talking about the Garryowen, of course, but just before it commences, we're talking a little about racing, because a number of these horses that are coming in to compete in the Garryowen are in fact retired race horses, and indeed thanks to Racing Victoria's Off the Track program, who encourage the rehoming and the redevelopment of many of our off-the-track horses. And Cheryl, isn't it good to see a number of these horses coming off the track to compete here at the Melbourne Royal?
Well, it just goes to show how versatile the breed is. And not only are they incredibly good-looking specimens in the horse world, they're also, so well adapted to different parts of life. When they're a racehorse, they have to go through so much as an early young horse. They're having to go to race meets all over the country. Some have to travel interstate, even internationally. You've got some horses that are racing from over in Europe over here that are travelling as 3-year-olds to compete in the biggest races. So what they go through as young horses really holds them in good stead later on in life, and some do transition incredibly well. And I think it's so important to keep pushing this wonderful breed, and it's so wonderful to see so many here that have transitioned so well. I cannot wait to see them in action.
Well, I can see our riders assembling out there in the collecting ring prior to coming in. Event due to start at 10 o'clock this morning, so not very long at all. I'm sure there'll be a few nerves happening out there with our riders. A number of them are experienced riders, but of course we have some first-time riders as well. And no doubt for those first-time riders there'll be a little nerves, a little bit of fluttering going on. But I'm sure once they get out there, get competing, being judged, then the nerves will disappear and they'll ride to their maximum ability, present their horse to the maximum ability as well.
And Peter, it's quite a warm day out there today, and they're having to wear some pretty hefty clothing items. So how do you think they're all going to go with 20, 25 degree sort of forecasted for today?
Put it this way, Charlotte, it's better than 20 mils of rain, isn't it? You're right, it is quite warm. And traditionally, of course, the riding coat, and I'm sure you'll be speaking about that, was in fact designed from the English hunting coats. And the English, of course, hunted in the winter, so they required heavy coats. Now, that's been the case in the tradition here with the riding coats and the turnout classes as well. But in recent years, riders have adapted and now have a slightly lesser weight coat, which of course is much more suitable to Australian weather conditions.
Yeah, you can never trust the Australian or Victorian weather, can you? So I'm glad they've adapted slightly.
Well, we'll be conducting our Garryowen Turnout class in 3 heats. In some distant years gone past, all the competitors used to come out into the arena at the one time, and that was a time when there could have been anything from 60, 70, 80, 100 competitors, and they would line up on the side of the arena and stand there sometimes obviously for a great length of time, hours in fact, before they actually performed and would judge. In more recent times, the event has been divided into heats to make it much more practical. So riders come in groups. In this year, they'll be coming in groups of I think about 6 or 7, and then they'll work, they'll be judged, they'll retire, and the next group of riders will come in. And of course that is much more practical. It's kinder to the horses. It means that the riders aren't sitting on the horse out there for hours on end, and it also of course is better for the horses. They can be warmed up, loosened up outside before they come in to perform. When you had to line up there and you are the last competitor, with say 100 competitors in the Garryowen, believe me, it was a very long day, and we often saw horses that had been standing there for several hours before they were asked to compete, were pretty bright, pretty frisky. They just wanted to get on with the job. They'd been standing for 2 hours. The workouts weren't always as the rider would have required, but today's arrangement makes it much more practical for our riders, with only 6 or 7 coming in a heat at a time.
Garryowen today will have 18 competitors.
Well, Charlotte, unfortunately, yes, we don't have the numbers we had in years gone past, but that's, I guess, in keeping with many activities, particularly in the equestrian world. It is, of course, a very expensive exercise, and I know you'll be talking about that a little later too, about the cost involved in preparing for an event like the Garryowen, because the turnout they use is, the costume is generally costume that's only used once a year for a turnout class here at the Garryowen, or maybe an interstate turnout class. And in many cases, the saddlery and bridle items of saddlery that are only used once a year. But at the same time, I'm sure our saddlery judge will be looking for saddlery that has been well worn, that is soft and supple and could be used any day, every day. Again, I think in the past, perhaps in the early days again, the gear that was used was probably the gear that was used almost every time the rider showed a horse, the gear, and the same with the costume. Then it became that wasn't the case, and the riders had specific gear that they kept only for their turnout classes.
A big thank you to the Redcoats as well, who will marshal this event today. Without these guys, we couldn't possibly do any of this. So good to see them out there, and thanks again for all of your help and support.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I can see now our first riders entering the arena, the first group in the Garryowen Equestrienne Turnout. And before we commence, let's give a big welcome to our judges down there, our 6 judges officiating in the Garryowen. Judging the mount will be Rebecca Jenkins from Queensland. Now, Becky is a very versatile rider who originated here in Victoria, competed very successfully in a junior. As a junior, she has ridden in the Garryowen on a number of occasions in 2003, 4, 6, 2008, 2009, 2014. She was placed in the Garryowen second, in fact, in 2004, and also gained a 4th and a 5th placing in subsequent Garryowens. Becky now has turned her attention to show jumping. She competed here at the Melbourne Royal in the show jumping classes earlier last week and had a wonderful show. But Becky, big welcome, and we really appreciate the expertise you bring to the Melbourne Royal Show Garryowen. Lindy Walker has been a regular competitor here at Melbourne Show for many, many years, was a winner of the Garryowen in 1988. She competed here on 8 or 9 occasions, has won nearly every major award there is to win right throughout Australia in the turnout and hacking classes. So Lindy Walker, again, welcome, and it's wonderful to have you here officiating. Judging the confirmation of soundness is Simon Bray, Dr. Simon Bray. Simon has a history in pony club and show horse and dressage, eventing and show jumping as well. He competed at both the Melbourne and Adelaide Royal Shows in rider classes, in dressage, in show jumping and saddle horses classes. He graduated from the University in Melbourne in 1986 with a degree in veterinary science, and currently runs his own practice as an equine veterinarian, servicing the Yarra Valley, Diamond Valley and Plenty Valley areas. So a very accomplished judge to be judging the conformation and soundness. Saddlery is being judged by Christine Mallinson. I mentioned earlier, Christine competed in the Garryowen, I think, 17 times. She was placed equal third in 1981, second in 1994, fifth in 1991, fourth in 1983. Again, a lady who has competed at the top level in both dressage and in showing. A winner of many, many major awards here at the Melbourne Royal Show, and welcome Christine Mallinson. Judging the costume here today will be Sylvia McLaughlin. Now, Sylvia also has competed very successfully. She was second in the 1982 Garryowen. She was a previous winner of the Esquire Turnout. She was placed fourth in the Garryowen in 1983 and has won many saddle classes, both Melbourne, Sydney and Adelaide Royal shows as well. She was placed in the Alice Laidlaw Memorial Trophy for lady riders over obstacles. Sylvia evented successfully as well, competed in hacking and riding classes at all the major royal shows, and again, a wonderfully experienced judge to be judging our costume. The general appearance judge for the Garryowen is Sharon Lewis-Tipping, again a lady who has enjoyed success in the Garryowen, having been placed 5th in 1983, 6th in 1978. She competed on 7 occasions in the Garryowen. So Sharon, come from a wonderful family of equestrians, and it's a delight to have you here judging our general appearance. Sharon currently runs a small boutique stud, Commonella, with the aim of breeding quality ponies and Galloways for showing and dressage. So welcome, Sharon Lewis-Tipping, judging our general appearance. Well, Charlotte, I can see our first competitor is out there now on the arena, and our first competitor being judged for saddlery and costume is a regular here at the Melbourne Royal Show, and I refer to competitor 1098. It's Fiona McIntyre. Fiona is an accredited retrainer of the off-the-track horses. She's had great success with her off-the-track horses. On this occasion, she rides the 11-year-old thoroughbred horse Westminster. Now, it's Westminster's first season in the show ring. He was a former racehorse who also raced over the jumps. He's adapted very well to the show ring, and it's great to see our off-the-track horses performing here in the Garryowen. And Charlotte, I'm sure you would have had much to do with Fiona over the recent times.
Yeah, well, Fiona is well known for precedence as well, and she's done an exceptional job with precedence, and this is another horse that she's obviously forming a formidable partnership with. And she's just seen getting back on the horse here after having her costume assessed. Always a little bit more tricky getting back on, I think, with the boots and the attire. Everything looks quite tight and quite difficult to actually extricate yourself on and off the horse. So they've got the mounting block there ready to go, and he's doing a stellar job, the horse there, with a couple of the stewards just to help. But a big occasion with a really big atmosphere. It's certainly something that these horses probably haven't seen before, an atmosphere as such. You've got the fairground rides in the background, lots of music, and as the day gets warmer, and I'm sure the crowds will really start becoming a lot bigger. So yeah, this horse is doing a fantastic job for an off-the-tracker.
Well, Charlotte, absolutely right, and you would know better than anybody, of course, being a registered racehorse trainer, how difficult it is for many of these horses to adapt. They have wonderful temperaments, but they're bred to race. That's what they're bred to do. And now to come in and do just the opposite and go quietly and stand quietly and all those things that they're not accustomed to must be quite testing and trying. And we're seeing down there our fellow Westminster. He's, well, it's only his first season, as I mentioned, so he's a little new to this whole showing game, but of course with the assistance of our wonderful redcoats, and how could we do without them? They're so good, they're so helpful. A big thank you to our redcoats for assisting with our horses and our riders here in the Garryowen. And the first of our riders, competitor 1098, Fiona McIntyre and Westminster. Well, now we have our first rider just having a warm-up down there before they come into the ring to complete the set workout for the Garryowen. In the meantime, coming forward to have their saddlery and costume judge will be our second competitor. This week will be competitor 1166. It's Kristen Brennan. Now, Kristen has ridden in the Garryowen on 3 occasions. She's the mother of 2 boys, and Kristen says she's been riding since she could walk and talk. She was placed 5th in the last Garryowen in which she competed, and she rides the warm blood horse Just Magical Dreams. Well, our first horse now entering the arena for the workout is Westminster and Fiona McIntyre. Now, the workout that has been set is required to be ridden by our riders. They enter the arena at a rising trot, turn left on the long side of the arena, the middle of the short side of the arena, a sitting trot, circle of 15 metres, then resume the rising trot across the diagonal of the arena. Riders are required to show some lengthening of the trot, either rising or sitting. On the right rein then, on the short side, commence the canter. A 3-loop serpentine is now required, and there in the centre a change of legs onto the left lead or the near fore lead. A half circle is the second loop of the serpentine, and again in the centre a change of lead. Now we see the right foreleg leading, that's the off foreleg. As riders come to the long side, they're required to show some lengthening at the canter. And there you saw Westminster lengthening his canter stride. In the corner, back to the ordinary working canter. Back to the working trot in the middle of the short side. And again, across the diagonal, showing some lengthening of stride at the trot. And back to the working trot, and riders will now ride back and halt just in front of the exit point. Ladies and gentlemen, that completes the workout for our first competitor 1098. It's Fiona McIntyre and Westminster. Coming forth into the working area now is competitor 1166. This is Kristen Brennan. Kristen rides Just Magical Dreams. Known as Magic at Home, is a 10-year-old warm blood. Was bred and trained by Haley, has previously been champion field hunter at the Melbourne Royal Show. So a very versatile horse, champion field hunter, and now competing in the Garryowen. It's Kristen Brennan and Just Magical Dreams. Kristen, unfortunately, was injured just 6 months ago, so she's only had a limited number of rides on the horse just in the last 3 weeks leading into the show. But I think it speaks volumes for Just Magical Dreams' temperament that after a short preparation, he's coming in here and performing so well. Kristen Brennan and Just Magical Dreams.
And I think we need to make mention just how beautifully turned out this horse is, being a grey, all those extra little bits and pieces you have to do to get them looking absolutely spick and span. So what a beautiful sight to see him out there.
A lot of washing, I'd suggest, Charlotte. Yes, you're right. You can hide a little, of course, on bay or brown or black horses, but greys, you can't hide anything, can you?
Absolutely not. You just hope this horse was clean in the stable.
That completes the workout for Kristen Brennan and Just Magical Dreams. One final assessment to be made, and that's by our confirmation and soundness judge, who's Dr. Simon Bray. You can see Simon down there now examining the horse. He will have seen the horse perform the workout, so he'll be able to judge its soundness from that. Now he's assessing its conformation as well. To competitor 764 now. This is Ali Berwick, and Ali rides Ultimate PPH. Now Ali is a full-time professional show horse trainer, been riding for some 30 years, and Ali, a former winner of the Garryowen here in 2012. She was the best first-year competitor in her first attempt in the Garryowen in 2008. She was also placed second in 2015, second in 2018, and fourth on Rolex in 2019. Ali rides Ariel Stella's nomination, the Warm Blood Thoroughbred Cross 5-year-old gelding Ultimate PPH. This horse is sired by an imported warm blood stallion and a thoroughbred mare by Show a Heart. He's only been shown under saddle for some 18 months, and Ali says he has the most incredible nature and the most trainable temperament as well. In his first year under saddle, he had tremendous success. He was champion at Barrostock Horse of the Year and at the Grand National, recently champion at Adelaide Royal Show as well, and having a great first year is Ultimate PPH. Ali herself, Charlotte, as I'm sure you'd be aware, is of course engaged to trainer Michael Kent Jr. And Ali and Michael looking forward to getting married next year.
Yeah, certainly a formidable couple that I'm sure we'll hear plenty of in the future, as they've got their own spelling and pre-training business, and yeah, certainly great guns, both of them. So I'm sure she's looking forward to that wedding, and looking forward to seeing what they both do in the future together. I'm sure training will be on the cards, and obviously a long, illustrious showing future for Ali. She's just presenting a beautiful workout out there.
Yes, I'm sure they're going to be the glamour couple of the racing, aren't they, Ali and Michael Kent Jr.? Ladies and gentlemen, competitor 764, it's Ali Berwick and Ultimate PPH. To competitor 1328 now. This is Lauren Ellery, and Lauren rides Merrick's Fiore, or Fifi, as Fiore is known at home. It's a 5-year-old warm blood owned by Lauren Ellery. Lauren, in her professional life, is a finance professional. She's been riding her entire life, and she competes in her first Garryowen. So a big welcome to a first-year competitor, Lauren Ellery, riding Merrick's Fiore. Lauren describes this mare as a quirky girl. Lauren bought her as a near 2-year-old. She's done all the training herself with her. And Lauren says now that Fifi, as she's known, relies very heavily on Lauren for pretty well everything. Lauren's ambitions in the show world are to continue in the showing. She also wants to progress in dressage, would like to be able to compete up to Prix St George level. Today, competing in the Garryowen as a first-year competitor, it's Lauren Ellery and Merrick's Fiore.
And when they say you get a good mare, you get a really good mare, and they really do fight for you, and they are putting together a beautiful workout out there, lovely and light and elegant on their feet.
Completes the workout for Lauren Ellery and Merrick's Fiore.
And great to hear so much support in the crowd. You know, a lot of effort goes into preparing these horses and riders, so really get behind them.
Absolutely, and a big welcome to our live streaming viewers as well. I can tell you, if you're sitting at home or somewhere else or watching on your tablet, the Garryowen Trophy, it's a glorious day down here in Melbourne today, as I guess it is in most parts of Victoria. We're so lucky. As we move to our next competitor, this is competitor 1159, and this is Georgie Kellock. Georgie rides Christine Frost's nomination, Inc. Georgie's been riding for some 13 years, a previous competitor here in the Garryowen. She was placed 6th in 2018 and 5th in 2019. And Georgie rides Christine Frost's Thoroughbred Gelding, Inc. Inc's been a highly successful show horse. He was the winner of the 2023 Barrostock Large Hack, winner of the Show Horse Council Champion Large Hack as well. He was runner-up at the EA Nationals in 2022. He's a previous Grand National Champion Large Hack as well. He's been champion-led thoroughbred at the Canberra Royal Show and has had a wonderful, wonderful showing career when shown by Christine Frost and Greg Micken, and now being ridden by Georgie Kellock. Competitor 1159, Inc. and Georgie Kellock. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Inc. and Georgie Kellock complete their workout now to be assessed by Dr. Simon Bray down there for the confirmation and soundness. But I'm sure Georgie gives a big sigh of relief. Although she's competed here twice before, it's always stressful for our riders down there competing in the Garryowen. Georgie's got it all behind her now, only one final assessment being made by a judge before we have just a small break. Inc and Georgie Kellogg being the last in the first heat of this year's Garryowen.
It might not be obvious while you're enjoying your horse's racing career, but it's never too early to consider their retirement plan. Whether it's resetting horses for a second career, sponsoring equestrian events, or supporting our acknowledged retrainer network, Racing Victoria's Off the Track team can help. Visit the Off the Track community to start planning your horse's second career.
Well, a big thank you to Racing Victoria and their wonderful off-the-track program. Charlotte Littlefield, how successful has that off-the-track program been? It's been so encouraging by Racing Victoria to get people with their thoroughbreds, to have them retrained, rehome, get out there competing and to give them a second chance in their lives.
Absolutely. I mean, there are so many horses bred each year that go through the sales, and there's such a high percentage of horses that, you know, don't go on to be incredibly successful but do need to have another career. And certainly Off the Track, supported and funded by Racing Victoria, has really come up with pathways for, you know, most of these horses, even with the new Reset program, which is for horses that have struggled to find a new career or pathway. So there's every sort of aspect now has been covered, and I know it's only getting bigger and stronger, and Melissa Ware will be here today to present and to help sort of support the event. So no, we can be very thankful. There is a proportion of prize money that does go from owners when they win races that goes to fund this, and I think you know, the more we make it aware, make the whole public aware of where funds are allocated and how we're actually helping these horses post their racing careers, it's really important.
I agree 100%. Well, Shell, I'm delighted to welcome Jeremy Roberts to the commentary team. Jeremy, nice to have you with us. Good morning. I know you encountered some problems arriving here this morning with the traffic. Great to have you here. Pleased to see you made it. And you're going to be doing on-ground interviews down there with our riders.
Yeah, thanks, Peter. Not ideal to have the traffic that is out there this morning, but great to be here. What a fabulous event, and the first of the heats. But Peter, you're right. I wanted to chat with some of our riders, some of them that have been out here before in the past, and one of them is Fiona McIntyre. Fiona, not your first time out here in the Garryowen, but I think probably your first time being the first out here on the arena this morning. It's not the first, you've been first before. So you have been in this competition a few years before.
Yes, that's right, Jeremy. I've competed in a number of Garryowens and I've been first a couple of times before. So yeah, that's all good. Someone's got to do it, so I'll take one for the team.
The luck of the draw, as they say. This horse won its novice yesterday. You'd be pretty happy coming out here today. How did you find today? The sun's shining. Often we get a bit of, the weather can be a bit wild, but a nice day to be out here today.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just saying, this time last year, this horse was sitting in a paddock. He's a retired racehorse, not even thinking about being a show horse. For him to come out yesterday and win his novice, thanks to my dear friend David for riding him, and then getting him out here this morning, it's all a new experience for him, and I'm just so pleased with how he's coped with it.
Well, another competitor we have down here is Ali Berrick. Ali, you've won this competition before, but on a different exhibit today. This horse had great success at Adelaide Royal not so long ago, last week or so. How did you find this morning's preparation and your time out here on the arena?
Oh, it was fabulous. Yeah, I'm super happy with this horse. As you said, Jeremy, he's a young horse. He's only, had a year and a half under saddle, and I brought him along myself from breaking. So really, it's just an absolute honour to be out here on him, and I have a lot of trust in him, and he's a lot of trust in me, and that's what this event's all about. I was very proud of the way he went today.
You've been out here, as I said, you've won this class before. What's it like coming out here as a previous winner? Do you feel there's more expectation, or do you just kind of, approach the class every year as if, you've won it, it's great to be in the history books, and it really comes down to a lot of different elements, and when you get out here just enjoying the ride?
Yeah, I very rarely get nervous in any show horse event, but you'd be crazy not to get nervous the morning of the Garryowen. It's amazing hype around the stables, and everyone gets together. But Look, no, I don't feel any pressure. It's really just about getting out here and enjoying your horse and doing the best workout you can, and yeah, the rest is out of my control.
Absolutely. And one other person, Peter, that I do want to catch down here is our first-time competitor in Lauren Ellery. Ali might not be nervous, but Lauren, I'm sure, being the first time out here on the arena in such a prestigious competition, you've been showing horses for many years, but your first time riding out here, really special on your horse, Mary's Fiore.
Yes, it's been my dream since I was a little girl to do the Garryowen. So, yeah, I feel like it's something I've always wanted to do. Oh, it makes me, I don't know, I'm crying. And I think you have to have a horse that's with you every step of the way, and I'm so lucky this horse would ride through fire for me, so it just makes it really enjoyable.
What have you found as a first-year competitor kind of been the biggest challenges? I've got no doubt your mum's sitting around here somewhere probably cheering you on. She's a wonderful supporter of yours as well as Jill Goldsmith. But what have you found the biggest challenges or the things that sort of most surprised you coming out here in your first year?
Look, I've never done turnouts before, so I think it's the process. There really is so much to it. The gear, your costume, I mean, the attention to details on another level. So, I mean, I've been so lucky to have an incredible support network. And I mean, particularly without Carol and Kate Hassler, I wouldn't have been able to do this at all because I literally had no idea. So you read the books and everything, but I think it's just that innate understanding that unless you've done it, you just don't know.
Well, it's a wonderful class. Congratulations to all of our first heats. We'll let them get off the arena and get the second heat, but back over to you, Peter Hegney, and the team up in the box.
Thank you, Jeremy Roberts, down there on ground. Well, our first heat now leaves the arena. Very shortly we will have our second heat in. Charlotte Littlefield, there's no question this event is absolutely steeped in history, isn't it?
It is, and I don't think there's many people in the equestrian world that wouldn't know what the Garryowen is. In fact, I mentioned the fact that I was coming here today to those that aren't even involved with horses or anything to do with equestrian or even racing, and they even knew what the Garryowen was. And I do remember when I first arrived in Australia 17 years ago, I remember hearing about the Garryowen and wondering what all the hype was about and what this special event was. And I've certainly watched a few over the years, but to be here and emceeing and hosting this particular event is very special. And I think now's a really good time to explain the history of this event. I think most people would know the significance behind it, but sort of more of the story of Violet Murrell, who is quite a spectacular lady in an age where women weren't really allowed to do what men were in the world of equestrian or racing. So we all know varying degrees of the story of Violet and Garryowen, their wonderful partnership, and the media reports each year give focus to the tragedy of the Violet Murrell story, the noble courage and heroic bravery she displayed in her sacrificial attempt to save her beloved horses from a blazing inferno. But I'd suggest that not enough time is actually spent celebrating what a truly rare, groundbreaking and admiring young woman she was prior to that. This was the 1920s, remember, and Violet was breaking all sorts of social conventions of the day in the best way. We know she was an extraordinary horsewoman at a time when horsewomen didn't have the freedoms they enjoy today. She was a seriously famous equestrian. Australians, not just Victorians, knew her name. Her riding prowess as a jockey, show jumper, top novelty rider, hack rider, point-to-pointer, following hounds and more knew no bounds. She was enormously competent and versatile. From her early childhood, she had been regarded as one of the most dashing and fearless of lady riders at hunts. She was a member of the Melbourne Hunt Club, being very successful over hurdles and fences. It has been said that organisation that no other person had better hands on a horse. Whilst in the riding of jumpers at shows and races at gymkhanas and other events where ladies are permitted to ride, she has won more trophies than any other woman in the world. She was a seriously skilled jockey in a time when women were prevented from racing against men and were restricted to country tracks. She didn't understand why she couldn't race against men, as she had proven to the VRC, the Victorian Racing Club, she was more than capable, having won on numerous occasions in both flat and hurdle races. It was written that there is no young lady in the Commonwealth who has been so much attached to racing. She achieved all this with horses before she died, aged only 29. The one thing that comes across in every account of Violet was that she was driven by her love of horses. She created strong bonds with them, and like her father, a trainer and racehorse owner, they both had that gift of being able to communicate with animals, which came naturally to her. Garryowen, for example, was a rather difficult horse, but he was like a lamb with Violet, hence why his owner decided to give him to her. We know she was a formidable horsewoman, famous around the nation for her successes, but she was also notoriously brave. As a jockey, she collected the requisite injuries, busted arms, broken nose and collarbone, and with her trademark grace and resilience, she got back up and rode as soon as she was able each time. And you may not know that she was inherently philanthropic. For instance, in her concern for animal welfare, Violet would offer pony rides to children for a fee and donate the proceeds to the Purple Cross charity. And she was an artist. Violet drew pictures of her horse events in her diary with an artistic flair passed down by her mother, who was a great oil painter mentored by an Archibald Prize winner. Plus, her partnership was unorthodox for the day. For starters, the age gap was noteworthy, but more importantly, her loving husband Bill was a feminist of sorts. The decorated cross-country rider, who was also a well-known jockey, would support Violet in her pursuit to race in metropolitan races, and he would tour with her to race meets. Such was their love for each other. It has been said that when Violet succumbed to her injuries from the fire and Bill was fighting for his life in hospital, the decision was made not to inform him of her passing, as it may have been a catalyst for his own decline. Of course, we now know he too succumbed to his injuries not long after. And to boot, as if Violet wasn't memorable enough, she was by all accounts, hundreds of them, very beautiful and fashionable and unwaveringly kind. Through this event, we celebrate one unforgettable young woman's legacy in the world of horses and her heart horse, Garryowen. It's more than a historic turnout class and prestigious test of horsewomanship. It's a reminder of a role model like no other, a world-class equestrian, a philanthropist, an artist, a woman of deep kindness, love, bravery and determination, a woman pushing boundaries, adored by many and lost far too soon. It's really important to remember Violet in her 29 years before the story that is best known even began.
Well, Charlotte, there's no question. It's an incredibly interesting story, of course, an intriguing story, steeped in history, as we make mention. And I was interested to hear that you say that even people who really aren't involved in the show world are aware of what the Garryowen Trophy is. I think most people, anybody involved in the showing world whatsoever, right throughout Australia, is aware of the Garryowen, and I think a number of people interstate as well who aren't involved in the equestrian world also know about this famed Garryowen. Well, I can see our second heat riders out there now. Our first rider coming forward in the second heat, and our first competitor will be competitor 477. 477 is Taylor Anderson, and Taylor rides the Warm Blood Collins Street. Well, a welcome, as I say, to our competitor 477, Taylor Anderson and Collins Street. Collins Street is a warm blood, Colin, as he's known around the place. Now, Taylor was won the first year award at her second attempt. She competed in 2013 and 2014. Taylor has been riding for some 17 years. She's a skin clinic administrator in her professional life. She describes Colin as a quirky horse, opinionated and full of personality. And Taylor says that Colin tests her patience every day. One day she loves him dearly, the next day he's going to be sold. But they have a great partnership. Our first competitor, Taylor Anderson and Collins Street. And again, just reminding you of our judges for our Garryowen. Judging general appearance, the overall appearance, with 20 points available to be awarded, is Sharon Lewis-Tipping. For the costume judge, we have Sylvia McLaughlin, and I can see Sylvia down there just assessing our rider, has come forward on the mat. Sylvia looking at the clothing, the fit of everything, the quality of the outfit that our rider has. Christine Mallinson was the first judge. She's judging the saddlery. Lindy Walker from New South Wales judges the riding ability of their riders. Rebecca Jenkins from Queensland is assessing the work, manners and paces of the horses, and Dr. Simon Bray doing the conformation and soundness. They are our 6 judges for this year's Garryowen, and a big welcome and appreciation and thank you to all our judges officiating.
I think think now would be a good time also just to run through the Garryowen attire rules. Obviously a very specific guideline that everyone must follow. We'll just run through these very briefly, but we've got the black coat, 23 ounces pure wool, virtually waterproof, navy satin lining, hand-stitched, white lace cotton hanky in the right pocket. The vest underneath, Tattersalls check in pure wool, hand-stitched, bottom button left open. The shirt, double-cuffed, small gold cufflinks. The stock, white morella, cotton starch within an inch of your life. Hand-tied, the rail of the stock must fold to the left, with the way the ladies' coat buttons. The stock is attached to the shirt by a 2.5-inch plain golf pin, and the ends of the stock are pinned by small gold safety pins to the shirt to stop it flapping. The stock is tied tightly around the neck for two very good reasons. Firstly, to keep the rein from running down one's neck, and secondly, to give the neck support in the event of a fall, remembering this was all worn on the hunt field. The stock is also used as a sling or bandage in the event of an injury, secured by the gold pin. There are 2 studs in the collarless shirt, large at the front and small at the back, to secure the stock in position. The gloves, buff leather palmed, cotton knitted backs and a small pearl button. The helmet. The helmet is the only thing on the costume that has changed since the event began. Competitors once wore a bowler attached by a lanyard to the collar of the coat, but due to safety reasons, competitors now wear a black helmet with a buff leather harness to keep it on. Traditionally in the hunt field, the ribbons on the back of the helmet were sewn up and only masters and professional staff wear them down. In the show ring, we wear them down. The breeches, buff cavalry twill pure wool hand stitched. There are 6 buttons at the point of the knee where garter straps fit beneath the 2nd and 3rd hole. The small stainless steel buckle sits against the button on the 4th hole. The garter strap serves no purpose in modern times, but it's still a part of the costume as it used to keep thigh-high leather boots up over the knee, and in warm weather the boots were turned down, yet again using the garter straps to keep them up. The boots, black and in the finest calf leather, boned. Garter straps are threaded through the loops at the back. Spurs, stainless steel, matching the garter straps and in line with the other buckles. The spurs must be pointed down. The cane, plain leather, same colour as bridle and saddle, measured from the fingertips to the elbow. Gardenia, worn in the right lapel as a mark of respect for Violet Murrell. This is the only part of the outfit that competitors are not in control of. These are pre-ordered at the superintendent's office and they do not choose the flower. Makeup, very little makeup, no jewellery and no perfume in the hunt as it interferes with the hound scenting.
Well, it's very complex criteria, very strict criteria too, isn't it, Charlotte? Unquestionably, but as you say, all very, very traditional. Only a very few minor changes have been made in the 85 years in which the Garryowen has been conducted. Well, our first competitor in the second heat is now having that little time for a warm-up. It's competitor 477, and this is Taylor Anderson, Taylor riding Collins Street. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the workout for competitor 477, Taylor Anderson and Collins Street. We welcome into the arena now a first-time competitor and a New Zealander. A lady who has come over here from New Zealand to ride in the Garryowen. It is competitor 1117. It's Philippa Whitaker from New Zealand. Now, Philippa's been riding for many, many years in New Zealand. She's an interior architect by profession. It's the first time she's ridden in the Garryowen, and Philippa rides Fiona McIntyre's thoroughbred gelding Highgrove. Philippa considers it a privilege to come over here and ride Highgrove, very generously loaned by Fiona. Highgrove himself has been a very successful horse in the show ring, and Philippa says she would love to come back here one year and ride at the Equestrian Royal Show, also up there in Brisbane. Philippa has won many titles in showing and dressage in New Zealand. At a young age, she competed in Grand Prix show jumping over there, and in her professional life, as I mentioned, she is an interior architect. So a big welcome to competitor 1117, Philippa Whitaker, riding Fiona McIntyre's Highgrove. Ladies and gentlemen, competitor 1117, it's Philippa Whitaker and Highgrove.
Well, Peter Hegney, I'm down here with the first of our riders in Taylor Anderson from the second heat and her Collins Street. Now, Taylor, you have been successful in this Garryowen event before, but this year coming out on a younger horse. Talk to us about Collins Street and this horse that you're riding today, and how you felt this morning coming into this year's Garryowen.
Well, we bought Colin after I lost my heart horse, Arrow, and so it's been a bit of a journey with him because he's not the easiest of horses. It's been to about 10 shows, so this is his first Royal. We weren't actually going to start this morning until about 2 hours ago, so it was a bit of a rush, and we had some amazing help from a few people, which was so thankful. But I was so proud of him out there. He tried for me, and he kept his nerves to himself without losing his, what would you say, his cool. But no, I was very proud of him, and I had a lovely time out there.
It's a really
Well, Jeremy, we have a horse competing at the moment. It's compared to 1688. This is Elizabeth Krog, and Elizabeth rides Warrawee Impresario. Now, Elizabeth has competed here in the Garryowen last year, as a matter of fact, placed in 2022. She rides the 8-year-old warm-blooded gelding known as Prez around the stables. He's Warrawee Impresario. This horse has been very successful in the show ring, being champion hack at the Sydney Royal Show in 2022. He was champion hack here at the Melbourne Royal Show last year, and as I mentioned, placed second in the Garryowen. It is Elizabeth Krog and Warrawee Impresario.
Yeah, thanks, Peter. So, Taylor, you have been here, and I said successful previously. What was it like winning the Garryowen? It's obviously a class that is steeped in so much history. There are so many beautiful riders that have not only competed but won this event. What's it like to add your name to those history books?
Well, I didn't win it. I lost by a point, but we did win the first timer, and yeah, so we weren't expecting anything the year I did it with my other horse, and yeah, it was surreal. So a lot of time and prep goes into it, and to be successful in such a prestigious and amazing event was really wonderful.
Well, fantastic to have you here competing this year, Taylor Anderson and Herc Collins Street. Now, Peter, you mentioned
ladies and gentlemen, it's competitor 1688, Elizabeth Krog and Warrawee Impresario.
Peter, just before that next rider makes their way into the workout, I'm down here with Philippa Whitaker, all the way from New Zealand. Philippa, what a special class to be involved in, and a very big thank you, no doubt, to Fiona McIntyre.
Oh, I can't thank her enough, honestly, to let me have a brilliant little horse like this to ride. Yeah, so, yeah, thank you.
Talk to us about your knowledge and understanding coming from New Zealand in terms of this class. We might get Peter just to introduce the next of our riders onto the course, and then we'll catch up with Philippa.
Thank you, Jeremy. I will, and it's competitor 1149. This is Natalie Mackay, and Natalie rides the off-the-track thoroughbred St Andrews. Previous competitor here in 2019 and 2022. Now, Natalie has owned St Andrews, who raced, I might add, and of the same name as St Andrews. She's owned him for 5 years, and Natalie describes him as a pleasure to own, to handle, and to prepare and ride as well. He's a horse that's had great success in the show ring as well. He's competed at national level. He was off the track national winner on 2 occasions. On 5 consecutive years, he represented Victoria at the national championships, and last year was the winner of the Esquire Trophy here at the Melbourne Royal. Winner of $65,000 on the racetrack. He raced until he was an 8-year-old, and now turning his abilities to the show ring, where he has been very successful indeed. Known as Andy around the place, it is competitor 1149 St Andrews.
So Philippa Whitaker, all the way from New Zealand, thanks to Fiona McIntyre riding this horse. Talk to us about your understanding of the Garryowen. I'm guessing in New Zealand you don't have something such as so prestigious such as the Garryowen. So talk to us how you've come to sort of be a part of this year's event.
Well, we have a couple of classes like this in New Zealand, of course not to this level. We've always looked up to this in New Zealand as like the prestigious event in the Southern Hemisphere to compete in. So I was fortunate enough earlier this year to compete in Sydney on a lovely horse called Sept and Diamonds in the same sort of class, the Ida Burling Perpetual Trophy. So and I was fortunate to win that. So I thought, why not give this one a go?
Absolutely. And Fiona McIntyre, she's been doing it for a few years, so no doubt she had all of the equipment for the horse. So then is that sort of what happened? And you've sort of pieced your outfit back together with all the requirements for the Garryowen?
I actually flew all my saddlery over from New Zealand, so yeah, because she's using her stuff in it, so luckily it fits.
How wonderful. Really special for you, though, to be here. The riders that have competed and have won this event, it's really special, isn't it? And the Ida Burling Trophy in Sydney is special, but this really takes the cake.
Oh, this definitely takes the cake, and it's just one thing to tick off the bucket list, so I can say I've done it. So yeah, I'm very thankful for everyone involved.
We'll wish you the best of luck. Congratulations, Philippa Whitaker and Highgrove, all the way from New Zealand, competing at this year's Garryowen.
Ladies and gentlemen, that completes the work for competitor 1149, Natalie Mackay and St Andrews. We move now to competitor 1601. This is Olivia O'Reilly. Olivia rides CJP Lewis of Loxley, known as Louis around the stables. He's an 11-year-old warm blood gelding. Again, wonderful temperament. In fact, Olivia considers he's like a Labrador around the place at home. He's been a winner at Sydney and Canberra Royals this year, and Olivia's ambition is to continue competing at a high level in the show world as well as in the dressage arena. It is competitor 1601, Olivia O'Reilly and CJP Lewis of Loxley.
Well, down here on the arena, having completed their workout, Elizabeth Krog and her Warrawee Impresario. Lizzie, not your first time out here on this horse. You were placed second last year. Obviously, always aiming to take out the win, but out here enjoying the sunshine, enjoying this beautiful horse and this wonderful class that is the Garryowen.
Yeah, it's a great thing to be a part of, and I just find myself very lucky that I can do it on my amazing horse that he is, and it's just fantastic to be out here and the vibe, and it just is an amazing event to be a part of.
This horse, Warrawee Impresario, he's only a young horse. You've had great success with him to date. Really special for you, I guess, coming out on a beautiful horse like this that you've trained and brought along and bringing it into a special class like this.
Yeah, it is great. You know, it's just me and my partner at home, so it's really just me and Prez and my partner just doing it all ourselves, and I take good gratitude that I know that I've done everything to my own horse.
Absolutely wonderful. Well, Lizzie, great to have you back here on the arena this year for the Garryowen. Elizabeth Krog and Warrawee Impresario.
Ladies and gentlemen, competitor 1601, Olivia O'Reilly and CJP Lewis of Loxley. To competitor 1123 now. This is Jessica Stalling, and Jessica rides Melissa Gillies. Verdict by Direction, or Bling as he's affectionately known. Now, Bling is an 8-year-old warm-blood gelding by Somerset Isle from Isle of Calais, owned by Melissa Gillies. And Jess, of course, comes to us as a winner of the Garryowen in 2019 when she rode the champion hack in Mickey Moto. Jess was placed second in her first attempt in 2016. She was also placed second in 2017 and then eventually winning in 2019. Verdict by Direction is a horse that was purpose bred. He's a horse that is equally successful in the show hunter classes as well as he is in the showing classes. And of course, Jess Stalling, his rider, is a rider who comes to us as a Grand Prix show jumping rider as well as a very successful hack rider. Jess runs her own horse training and riding establishment in New South Wales. She operates JS Equestrian. It is competitor 1123, Jessica Stalling, and Verdict by Direction. Verdict by Direction, for a little extra information, was in fact the winner of the Champion Hunter Hack at the 2022 Melbourne Royal Show. Also won the Providence Cup here at Melbourne Royal and has been a multi-Royal Show and national title holder. Verdict by Direction and Jess Stalling. Completes the workout for Jess Stalling and Verdict by Direction.
Well, Natalie McKay, you have been out here in the Garryowen before. You've got a beautiful horse here in Andy and St Andrews. Enjoying the ride out here today. How's your preparation for this year's Garryowen been leading up to today?
The preparation's been pretty cruisy actually, which is good. I really enjoy doing this event, and we have a small team, so getting ready this morning was no stress, so it was good, yeah.
You have had great success with St Andrews. What's it like coming out into an arena with a horse that I guess you have a lot of understanding of and a lot of faith in?
Well, I guess it makes it a bit easier riding the workout because you understand your horse and you know their little quirks as well, and you can kind of stop it before it happens. So yeah, it definitely makes gives you an advantage knowing your horse well.
Now, you've been out here a few times before in these classes. You've been riding for many years. What's it like for you, this prestigious class that is the Garryowen?
Oh, it's amazing. This is my third time out here. And yeah, it gives you goosebumps coming out here, all the tradition, and all the ladies, they're dressed beautifully. So
Well, Jeremy, can I just introduce our competitor in the ring at the moment? This is competitor 1298. This is Jessica Turtle from Romsey here in Victoria. And Jessica rides Syriana. Syriana is a thoroughbred warm blood cross. Not only is Syriana competing in the hack classes here at the Melbourne show, but this horse is also a Grand Prix dressage horse, and just in a few weeks will be competing at the Australian Dressage Championships. Jess Turtle, the rider, was champion lady rider here at the Melbourne Royal Show, just conducted a couple of days ago, and Jess says her ambition is to represent Australia at the Olympic Games. Jess, of course, family is heavily involved in the breeding and showing of horses as well. And Syriana is a very successful, as I say, Grand Prix dressage horse. It's competitor 1298, Jessica Turtle and Syriana, competing in their first Garryowen.
Well, also competing in their first Garryowen, Olivia O'Reilly. I'm sure the nerves have gotten to you this morning. What a wonderful class for you, and a first year for this year on your own horse, that is CJP Lewis of Loxley. How wonderful for you to be out here. You have been very lucky. You've got great weather on your side this year. Years gone by, we've seen the rain plummeting down, but wonderful to be out here, and no doubt for you, a really special day.
I'm very happy. He didn't do too bad for his first time out here, but it's all a bit nerve-wracking, but we got through it, so very happy with it all.
What have you found coming into your first Garryowen? Is there anything that sort of surprised you? I guess there's a lot of boxes to tick, and you need a whole team behind you to get here. But what's sort of been most surprising for you?
I think just all the gear, all the work that's got to go into all your outfit and everything has just shocked me. But it's definitely been a learning curve, but a good one. So.
No doubt plenty of riders that have been here before that you look up to, you see out here in the arena year after year. So for you coming out here and being a part of it, congratulations.
Thank you very much. No, I'm very happy to be here. I'm very excited for it all. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Olivia O'Reilly, a first-year competitor with her CJP Lewis of Loxley.
Jeremy Roberts, we've just seen the workout by competitor 1298, and that was Jessica Turtle riding Syriana. That was our final rider in this, the second heat of our Garryowen Trophy.
It might not be obvious while you're enjoying your horse's racing career, but it's never too early to consider their retirement plan. Whether it's resetting horses for a second career, sponsoring equestrian events, or supporting our acknowledged retrainer network, Racing Victoria's Off the Track team can help. Visit the Off the Track community to start planning your horse's second career.
Well, just stalling. If anybody's been in this Garryowen with a better strike rate, I'd like to know, because you've competed 3 times before. This is your 4th time. 2 seconds, a previous win, and this being your 4th ride out here in the Garryowen with 4 different horses. You are an ultimate professional from the days of Homevale Ebony back when you were a young rider to a Garryowen. It's great to see you out here. You are, like I said, an absolute professional. There's no stone unturned when it comes to you. Wonderful to see you out here, even if you are an import from another state. But great to have you down here in Victoria competing this year's Garryowen.
Thanks so much, Jeremy. It's an absolute privilege and honour to compete out here and be a part of this prestigious event. The atmosphere is fantastic, and yeah, this is definitely the most special day to be out competing on this wonderful arena. I'd just like to wish all the other competitors the best of luck, and yeah, it's an honour to be out here. So.
When you were out here in the lineup before, I said to you, are you nervous? Are you excited? And you kind of said to me, it's just another class really for you when it comes down to your riding. You've been out on the arena so many times before. I guess for you, you really have to treat it like that. You have to ride this class like every other class that you go into.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we do all our training and hard work behind the scenes to come out here and put on a show. You know, countless days, weeks, months. You know, blood, sweat, and tears goes into all events, but especially this event, making sure the gear is perfect and you can't leave a stone unturned, as you said. But yeah, it's definitely coming out and having a good connection with your horse, and you know, that they're ready to perform and, you know, deliver in the moment, because you don't get much warm up unlike a lot of other events, so you have to have them ready to be on cue in 1 minute 30.
Well, how exciting. Fabulous to have you here, Jessica Stalling, and verdict by direction. Now, one other rider we've got down here. Jess, you've just come out of the arena there. Congratulations. Very special. This horse is owned by a wonderful client of yours, and I think it's a very big happy birthday to Sam Thomas today as well.
It is a very big happy birthday. So happy birthday, Sam, and thank you so much for letting me ride your beautiful mare. Unfortunately, didn't have a great ride today, but no matter what, we love this horse. She's so beautiful and she tries really hard, so thank you.
Jess, you've been riding for many years, enjoying great success in the show ring and the dressage arena as well. Really special for you to come out here in the Garryowen?
It is. It really is, to be out here on the big stage and to just show our support to such a courageous woman that lost her life and her horse's life. So it's amazing to be here.
It absolutely is. Well, there we are. That's the second heat of riders who will make their way off the arena. Congratulations to all of our riders in the second heat. Peter and Charlotte up there in the box. It is fabulous to be down here. I tell you what, the field this year might not be large in number, but there's absolute quality and beautifully turned out and presented horses down here for the Garryowen.
Now would be a great time just to run through what the winner of the 2023 Garryowen Equestrian Turnout will win. Firstly, a 9-carat gold diamond custom-made pin, handcrafted by Melbourne Jewellery Service, valued at $2,300, supported by Sally Morrill-Rich, the grandniece of the late Violet Morrill. Secondly, a $2,000 prize money supported by Marguerite Dorglass, the grandniece of the late Violet Morrill. $1,000 in prize money supported by Wagner's Saddlery. A portrait valued at $1,000 supported by Michelle Bird Equine Art. A perpetual trophy, the Melbourne Royal Sash. A saddlecloth supported by Racing Victoria Limited. A Garryowen Garland, Hacking Cane, Antique Amethyst Tie Bar from Jennifer Edwards, valued at $1,800, created and supported by Lynn Milburn Garlands, total value of nearly $3,000. This garland has been in the making for a very long time. The garland has 200 white roses with greenery and is adorned with a hacking cane made especially for the garland. The initials VG for Violet and Garryowen are embroidered on the flat. The garland includes individual hand-scribed cards naming the previous winners in small saddles on the back of the hacking cane. The saddles have been made by Melissa Rideout from Rideout Equestrian. Then there is the antique amethyst tie bar from Jennifer Edwards. The garland is prepared by Lynn Milburn and supported by Lynn's husband Glenn, friends Diane Warbies, Tian King, Melanie McLaughlin and Vicky Jones. Lynn says it is a privilege to be a part of the Garryowen Turnout class and thanks Melbourne Royal for this opportunity to create the garland. There's also a trophy rug supported by Cedar Lodge Equine Products and product packs supported by International Animal Health.
Well, very special people down here on the arena that have been involved in not only the Garryowen but also the show, and one of them is director of Royal Melbourne Show in Jason Ronald. Jason, a very special day out here. You've been here plenty of times fixing things as you go along, but how wonderful to have our riders back here on the arena, and I think you've organised the weather for today. It's very beautiful out here.
Well, I thought you might take the credit for that, Jeremy, but it's great to see the crowd here in the stands watching this Garryowen event, now up to the 89th year. Next year is going to be very special with 90 years since this equestrian turnout commenced. And great support with the people that have entered this year, and we hope that you in the stand are thinking about your horse for next year, because we want to have a really good roll-up for the 90 years of this equestrian event.
Charlotte's just talked through the awards that go to the winner here, but not only the beautiful garland and the saddle and all of the prizes, but also having their name etched in history. We have seen so many beautiful riders, so many competent riders that have topped the classes year in, year out. Really wonderful to have some great young riders. I guess for me, they're young riders. They've come through the ranks and they are competing at the very top of their game in these days.
And if they're young riders for you, they'd be very young riders for me. Yes, great to see them. It's good to see some of the previous winners returning and competing against others this year. So it'll be interesting to see who's going to end up winning this. We were fortunate the other day to have with us Anne Gibson, who had won the Garryowen in 1953. So 90 years of age, still swimming, keeping fit, and she came and her horse, Don Quixote, was put into the Garryowen Hall of Fame.
Now, wonderful as well, the year in, year out that this class runs. It really is, I guess, the jewel in the crown of the Horses in Action program here. Wonderful to have the support. It really is a special class, isn't it? There's nothing else in this country that really, surpasses the class that is the Garryowen.
Totally agree, and it is regarded as the top equestrian event in the country, and I think every person or woman who is serious in being involved would like to win this event, and we've had some very distinguished winners in the past, and I hope that we'll obviously get another one today.
Well, Jason Ronald, fabulous to be here with you. Congratulations to you and the team on this year's Royal Melbourne Show. Fabulous to have you here again.
Thanks, Jeremy, and keep up the good work.
Well, Peter and Charlotte, I think the next heat of our horses are just a couple of minutes away out here on the arena. Fabulous to be here. Fabulous to have people like Jason Ronald. I can see the wonderful team that are here year in, year out, back on the arena this year for the Garryowen in 2023.
Thank you, Jeremy Roberts, down there on ground. And you're right, very shortly we'll have the third group of horses in. We have 6 horses in our third group. They'll be returning into the arena very shortly. In the meantime, of course, officials down there are very madly collating points that have been allocated by our judge, with a maximum of 200 points being available to be allocated by our individual judges, and individual judges being Sharon Lewis-Tipping judging general appearance, Sylvia McLaughlin judging our costume, Christine Mallinson's down there judging our saddlery, Lindy Walker doing the riding component of the event, Rebecca Jenkins judging the manners and paces of the horse, and Dr. Simon Bray judging the conformation and soundness. Now, there are 50 points available for the judging of the conformation and soundness, 50 points for the riding, 40 for the manners and paces, 20 for the costume, 20 for the saddlery, and also 20 for the general appearance. So a total of 200 points to be allocated for each of the overall of the points allocation for this Garryowen class.
It might not be obvious while you're enjoying your horse's racing career, but it's never too early to consider their retirement plan. Whether it's resetting horses for a second career, sponsoring equestrian events, or supporting our acknowledged retrainer network, Racing Victoria's Off the Track team can help. Visit the Off the Track community to start planning your horse's second career.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we wait for our next group to come in for our Garryowen Trophy, delighted to have our CEO of the Royal Agricultural Society of Victoria, Brad Jenkins, up here with us. But also, very importantly, I'm particularly delighted to be able to welcome Senator Bridget McKenzie to the microphone point. Bridget, welcome, and Brad Jenkins, big welcome to you as well.
Great to be here. It's a beautiful day. Everyone's out and about, and to be able to watch the Garryowen this morning is absolutely fantastic as a young pony club girl from Benalla.
Well, it's great to have you down here, Bridget. And what are you looking forward to most today?
Well, Brad, there's so much on offer for everybody. It was fantastic to see all that beautiful produce from right around rural and regional Victoria in the pavilion. And to really get on the ground and see our cattle pavilion, where we can see our beef cattle from right around the country competing in those events. And what I love about the show is how the city does really meet the country, and for the whole family there's something here for them to get involved in today.
Now, I believe you're an ex-pony rider, is that correct?
Yes, it's a great honour for me to be here today at the Garryowen. When it used to be held on a Tuesday, I'd catch the train down from Benalla and sit and watch it. So it's just amazing 40 years later to be on the ground today and be hopefully sashing a wonderful performance. And I mean, you obviously go and see the shows all around Australia in your role, and can you see any differences now that you've arrived at Melbourne Royal Show compared to the other agricultural shows around Australia? Well, Brad, I'm a very proud National Party senator for our great state in Canberra. I grew up in a little country town called Gurumbat, about 2.5 hours from here, and I'm just so proud of our royal show. You've got the Ekka up in Queensland, which is very, very agricultural focused, but it doesn't have that really family open feel that our royal has always had. And last weekend I had the honour to be at the Perth Royal when the Governor-General opened it, and again just didn't have the integration that I think the Melbourne Royal has, where yes, it's about great performances in all the rings, whether it's beautiful wine or spirits or the beef pavilion, the poultry, or here with the horses. It's all those other things that you can do at the Royal, so that it really is a great event in and of itself.
Yeah, well, certainly the crowds have come out in their droves today. It's a wonderful day to be here for the Garryowen Equestrienne Turnout. It's a very special occasion for the Melbourne Royal. This year, we're celebrating 89 years since the Garryowen was first installed, so it's a remarkable history, and Melbourne Royal ourselves are celebrating 175 years this year, and we were also fortunate to have the Governor-General come along and open our show this year, which was marvellous. But we're really looking forward to a spectacular afternoon, and I thank everyone that's attended today, and I hope you have a wonderful afternoon. And thank you, Bridget, for making the time to come down and see the Melbourne Royal Show, and I hope you have a great day too.
Thanks, Brad. Looking round, I am absolutely confident that will be the case, and good luck to all exhibitors today.
Well, Charlotte Littlefield, I can see now our first competitor of the third heat is coming before our judge to have the saddlery and costume judged, and that is being judged by Sylvia McLaughlin down there doing the costume, the saddlery of course being judged by Christine Mallinson. I beg your pardon, yes, by Christine Mallinson. Sharon Tipping-Lewis is also judging the general appearance. And our first competitor comes from South Australia, Roseworthy in South Australia. Its competitor 610, This is Kate Halliday. Kate's been riding for many, many years over there in South Australia, very successful rider, also involved in the thoroughbred industry. And Kate rides the 8-year-old warm-blooded gelding Kalimna Quick Hit. Kalimna Quick Hit has been owned by Kate since just as a foal, and Kate broke him in, produced by herself. And Kate describes him as being a horse who loves being the centre of attention and being part of the busy stable life. It's Kate's intention to keep competing and enjoying and being out there with her horse. So from South Australia, our first competitor, number 610, Kate Halliday, and Kalimna Quick Hit. Interesting, Charlotte Littlefield, as I see down there, our saddlery being judged in our Garryowen, saddlery being judged down there by Christine Mallinson. One of the very wonderful prizes here in the Garryowen this year is a lucky draw for all the competitors to win a county saddle valued at some $8,000. So some recipient, not necessarily the winner, it is purely a lucky draw, and one person will win the $8,000 county saddle. And a big thanks indeed to Vicky Laurie for the support from County Saddlery. Vicky, of course, as I mentioned earlier, a 6-time winner of the Garryowen Trophy. And Vicky consults to County Saddles, and through their generosity, a lucky winner will win the $8,000 county saddle this year in the Garryowen. Well, our first horse in the third heat is just having a warm-up before coming into the arena. This will be competitor number 610. It's Kate Halliday from Roseworthy in South Australia. Kate rides Kalimna Quick Hit. In the meantime, our second competitor of this heat is currently having the saddlery and the costume judge, and that's competitor 513. It's Gemma Reeves Singles, and Gemma rides a Welcome Stranger. Now back to the arena and the workout with Kalimna Quick Hit and Kate Halliday. Ladies and gentlemen, our first competitor in Heat 3, it's number 610, Kate Halliday and Kalimna Quick Hit. We move now to competitor 513. This is Gemma Reeves Singles, and Gemma rides a Welcome Stranger. Now Gemma has been riding for some 20 years. It's her first occasion competing in the Garryowen, but Gemma previously has won the junior turnout here on 2 occasions at the Melbourne Royal Show. Today she rides Brian Scholz's Clydesdale Cross gelding, a Welcome Stranger, known as Gillen around the stable, and a very successful show hunter with wins including the Barrostock Horse of the Year owner Rider Show Hunter. Gemma hopes to compete in future Garryowens on her own mount, and on a professional level she currently is an operations manager at a local hotel and would like to manage a 5-star hotel. She would love also to compete at the Royal Melbourne Show with one of her homebred Australian stock horses. It's competitor 513, Gemma Reeves Singles and a Welcome Stranger.
Well, Kate Halliday, how fabulous to have you here at this year's Royal Melbourne Show. How fabulous to have you competing in your first Garryowen. Congratulations. I caught up with you just a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago at Royal Adelaide Show. This is a favourite of many people, this horse. Wonderful to have you here. How have you gone today?
Really good. He gave me a really lovely ride. I'm really happy with him.
I said a lot of people love this horse. He's somewhat of a fresh face on the scene. He's had great success to date and taking out champion Hack at Adelaide. He's been a young horse that you've brought along quite slowly. An environment like this is a lot for him. You'd really take your time with him. He's really special.
Yeah, I'm super proud with him, how he's handled the atmosphere. He's been just a star. Yeah, he never does anything wrong in my eyes anyway.
You've been competing in the ring for a long time, but turnout's probably not something we've seen you do a lot of. Have you found this quite a challenge with all of the gear, as well as, riding you're very comfortable on the horse, but all of the other elements?
Yeah, I'm very lucky. I've got a super help behind me. Vicky and Chris, Laurie and David and Margot have helped me, and Carolyn, Peter Wagner and Mel Waller. Everyone's just been amazing and so helpful along the way, and all the other competitors have been fantastic. So it's just been a really enjoyable time.
Well, fabulous. Congratulations, Kate Halliday and her Kalimna Quick Hit. First-time competitors in the Garryowen 2023.
Jeremy, we've just seen the completion of the work by competitor 513, Gemma Reeves Singles, and A Welcome Stranger. Our next competitor will be competitor 1711 from Narre Warren East here in Victoria. It's Rebecca Phillips. Now, Rebecca, by profession, is a police officer. She has competed here on 4 previous occasions, commencing in 2016. Rebecca rides the thoroughbred gelding Raphael Lewis, as he's known around the stables, and he's owned by Rebecca Phillips and Donna Llewellyn. This racehorse was actually an imported horse from France in 2015. He was brought to Australia by the very large owner of thoroughbreds here in Lloyd Williams, but he didn't want to be a racehorse when he came to Australia. In fact, he did a bit of a talk with Charlotte Littlefield. He didn't want to jump out of the gates, and I'm sure you may have come across Raphael when he was here, when he was attempting to race. But his rider described him as very quirky, but a lovable big boy, and obviously adapting to the showing game very well. Do you remember him by any chance, Charlotte?
I don't remember this guy, and he is very attractive, so I'm sure I should do, but he clearly never got to race over here, so he never really made his mark, sadly, but he's certainly making his mark here, isn't he? He's a very beautiful horse to look at and got a really nice shoulder and uphill movement, so hopefully he can maintain and keep working out nicely.
Well, it's great, as we've said so many times, to see our thoroughbred horses with a second life, second chance in life, competing now in the show ring. And this is one of those. It's Raphael and Rebecca Phillips.
Well, Gemma Reeves Single, I heard Peter mention before you've won turnouts here before. It might have been a few years ago when you were in the junior classes, but how special and how wonderful to have you here coming through the ranks and competing in your first Garryowen.
Yeah, I'm very excited to be doing it for the first time. I'm very lucky to have Brian's horse, so I can't thank him enough for letting me use him, because he's just a dream to ride, honestly. So yeah, it's exciting doing it for the first time.
You've probably been out here watching from the side of the arena for many years. You've seen some wonderful competitors competing and taking out this class. How special is that when you see those riders that you emulate and then you get a chance to be out here on the arena yourself?
It is really exciting. There's a lot of people that I've watched for years doing it, and yeah, to do it myself and have a really good ride, I'm really happy about it and very emotional, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely, and you should be emotional as well. I think it is really something to look forward to. Have you enjoyed the experience? I guess there's a lot of pressure and sort of a lot of elements that you have to put together. You know, the costume that you wear, there's so much that goes into that. There's the pressure when you come onto the arena, the atmosphere like this. You've got, there's a lot into it. Have you enjoyed the ride?
The ride, yes. The lead up to it, not so much. Mum is a bit stressful, but she does everything for me, so I can't thank her enough as well for getting me here, because without her I wouldn't be doing it.
Well, congratulations to you. Well done. Fabulous to have you here. Gemma Reeves Single and A Welcome Stranger.
Well, Charlotte, we've said many times how difficult it can be for some of these off-the-track thoroughbreds to come into the show ring, particularly on the first occasion here. They'll be a little overawed by the atmosphere here at the Melbourne show, and Rebecca Phillips and Raphael have decided to retire from the competition. We therefore move to competitor 1175 from Balhunna in South Australia. We welcome into the arena Alana Richards, and Alana rides the thoroughbred gelding Royal Blue. Now, Alana is involved with the pre-training and breaking thoroughbred racehorse thoroughbred business of Palm Equine. It's the first time Alana's competed here in the Garryowen. She's had Royal Blue since he was a new off-the-track thoroughbred, so another one of her wonderful off-the-track thoroughbreds. And Alana describes him as having a wonderful temperament with a lovely soft nature. And Alana, I noticed, is actually heading over to Germany to ride in dressage next month. So it is competitor 1175, Alana Richards, riding Royal Blue. Competitor 1175, Alana Richards and Royal Blue. We move now to competitor 1232 from Sydney. We welcome Melissa Gillies, and Melissa rides Beyond Reasonable Doubt, the warm blood gelding owned by herself. Now, Beyond Reasonable Doubt was actually bred by Mary Hannah. Had a successful career as a show horse and a dressage horse. He also won several working hunter classes at Sydney and Adelaide Royal shows. And Melissa describes him as having lots of habits and hobbies, including eating, sleeping, and he's a bit of a character around the stables. It is Melissa Gillies and Beyond Reasonable Doubt. Melissa having competed for the last 7 or 8 years here in the Garryowen, the Melbourne show, and Melissa by profession is a barrister in Sydney.
The open classes as well. You've become really a force to be reckoned with him, but coming into a class like this, it's really different, I guess, isn't it? When all of the elements of costume and everything get added and saddlery get added into the mix. How have you found the experience your first time?
100%. When he won Grand Nationals and champion at Sydney, it was amazing. But coming into this, I wasn't 100% sure on what to do, but I'm lucky to have a great team around me who has helped me. Myron Laurie and Caro Wagner and Pete Wagner, who rushed to get all my stuff together because I only decided to do it 2 months ago. I'm very thankful. And my mum and my nan and my girlfriends have flown over to be here. So I'm very fortunate.
It really is a special class. Now, I heard Peter mention that you're going over to Germany to do a bit of dressage.
Yeah, I'm very lucky to have my dad. He supported this whole thing during the Garryowen, and we went over to Germany and rode some very cool horses. And we're going back. I'm going to go back for a few weeks and just learn some more and be a good experience.
Well, great to have you here, Lana Richards and Royal Blue.
Jeremy, we move now to our final competitor in this year's Garryowen Equestrienne Turnout. It is competitor number 786. This is Bryony Lee from Whittlesea in Victoria, and Bryony rides Winara Signature. Winara Signature is a riding pony Welsh cross 7-year-old owned by Simone Padwan. And Orlando, he's known around the stables. He loves to be the centre of attention. He, whether it's destroying his rugs or being in your face or wanting cuddles and treats. And Orlando and Bryony have now been riding together for almost 3 years. Bryony from Whittlesea, of course, is the sister of last year's Garryowen winner, and on that occasion, Winara Signature was the winning horse of the Garryowen. Now, Bryony's ambitions is to hopefully win the Garryowen, and she also intends to continue breaking in horses and bringing young horses up from newcomers to competitive open show horses. Bryony was fortunate to work in England as well when she was 16 and 17 years of age. It is competitor 786, Bryony Lee and Winara Signature.
Well, Melissa Gillies, I think you are the epitome of a rider in the Garryowen. Last year I saw you out here as well. The biggest smile on your face. You just come out of the arena. You are just loving being here. I absolutely love it. What people might not know, this horse is called Beyond Reasonable Doubt. Another horse in the class is also owned by you in Verdict by Direction. Talk to us about how you come up with those names, and congratulations for being here again in this year's Garryowen.
Well, the first decent horse I bought myself was called Legal Eagle, and I almost didn't buy him because I thought that people would have thought that I named him that because I'm a lawyer. And then I thought, well, if they're going to think that, I'll go right on with it. And now I have a whole stable full of horses, which I flick through a legal dictionary when I buy and pick the cutest name.
Now, it is fabulous having you here. How is it special? How special is it for you not only having one horse, but two horses out here, one under the ride of Jessica Stalling?
It might have been a little emotional in the stables this morning, and I'm not quite sure how it happened. I came to riding quite late. I was happy with a third at an ag show until a couple of years ago, and this horse and the other horse upped the ante, and now I just think I'm the luckiest woman in Australia.
It is fabulous, and coming out here and riding in a class like this is really special, but you take this really, I guess, relaxed approach. You come out here, you do all the work, but you really enjoy the ride, don't you? That's fabulous.
This is Bundy's last Garryowen, so we had to enjoy it.
Well, fabulous to have you here. Well done, Melissa Gillies, and one of her two horses in this class, but this one here is Beyond Reasonable Doubt.
Ladies and gentlemen, our final rider is competitor 786. It's Bryony Lee and Winara Signature. Well, our final judging is now taking place down there with Dr. Simon Bray assessing the conformation and soundness of our final rider. The points, of course, will then be allocated and collated, and we'll have a result for you and a presentation, a major presentation to be taking place for this very prestigious Garryowen Equestrian Trophy. The 89th year in which this Garryowen Trophy has been conducted. Jeremy Roberts, you're down there with our last rider in the competition.
I am Peter Hegney, and this beautiful horse here was the winner of last year's Garryowen, but a different rider on top, another one of the Lee sisters, and in fact they adorn the front of the catalogue. But Bryony Lee, your chance to ride Orlando this year, how did you find? I think the crowd were very pleased. How did you find your ride this morning?
Oh, wrapped. It actually went way better than expected. No, I'm stoked with him.
You've put a lot of work into this horse, took out Supreme at the Grand Nationals earlier in the year. This horse, you really love this horse, and owner Simone is really, obviously, and very rightfully proud of this horse. He's a really special horse, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. He's been in the stable since he was a breaker. Just after he was broken in, he came to me. Done a lot with him. He's newcomer, and now, Grand Nationals Grand Champion, so he's done really well, and yeah.
Coming out into the Garryowen, though, a really different class, a different competition, isn't it? You compete in classes throughout the whole country, in a whole range of classes, but the Garryowen is really special.
Yeah, it's definitely on top for me. Like, it's something that I really want to achieve the win in one day, hopefully. Yeah.
Well, we'll see how you go today, but it is really special, and I guess when you've won so many accolades, winning a Garryowen would really be fabulous to put your name into the history books.
Absolutely. Top it all off, yeah.
Well, we wish you the best of luck today. The final of our competitors, Peter Hegney, as you mentioned, it is Bryony Lee and Orlando.
Well, Jeremy, I made mention a little earlier of one of the wonderful prizes, and Charlotte Littlefield will talk you through all the prizes that we have here for our Garryowen. But to my knowledge, for the first time, one of the wonderful prizes to be given this year is in fact a county saddle to the value of $8,000. Very generously supported and donated by County Saddles. and that will be done by a random draw for all our competitors in the Garryowen. So there's going to be one lucky rider out there, be it the winner or a rider who doesn't place. Somebody is going to be a winner of that great County saddle. And of course, County renowned for the quality product they've produced for many, many years. In fact, I would suggest many of the saddles being ridden in the Garryowen are in fact County saddles. So thanks indeed to County and...
But it's never too early to consider their retirement plan. Whether it's resetting horses for a second career, sponsoring equestrian events, or supporting our acknowledged retrainer network, Racing Victoria's Off the Track team can help. Visit the Off the Track community to start planning your horse's second career.
Well, Jeremy Roberts down there, I can see on ground that you have one of our judges officiating in the Garryowen. In fact, a lady who, well, has done everything, hasn't she? A lady who's competed here so very successfully over many years. It's delightful to have this judge back to officiate in the Garryowen this year. And of course, I refer to Sylvia McLaughlin.
Yeah, that's right, Peter. Sylvia McLaughlin is a wonderful addition to the judges for this year's Garryowen. But before I touch on the horses, Sylvia, for many people, they might know that you have some very well-known sons as well. So a big week for us here at the Garryowen, but for also one of your sons in Gillan McLaughlin, it's a big week, the outgoing CEO of the AFL.
It is. I think he's a bit sad to leave it, but it'll be good for us. We'll see more of him.
Yes, you might do. He's a busy man, though, and obviously Hamish as well. Wonderful to have him here. I see them at a lot of events, and they are wonderful characters. But for you here, the Garryowen this year, really special to be on the judging panel?
Oh, I was thrilled to be asked. It's a long time since I've judged. I thought I was sort of maybe too old anymore, but it was it was very nice, and I think the quality of the horses is wonderful. There's a few warm bloods coming into it. And
expertise today, looking over the costume.
Yeah, they were all so perfectly turned out. There's, you know, a lot of them got full marks. They were fabulous, and they looked fabulous, yeah.
Talk to us about your career with horses. You're from the Western Districts of Victoria. Talk to us about your success enjoying riding as well, but I think Gillan or Hamish told me you've been told to back off the horses after a bit of an incident down at Bonio.
Yes, well, I have, but you know, I've ridden all my life, and I did back off for a while, but I missed it. So, you know, I've got a very nice horse that I've been back on. This will go viral now, and they'll all find out. But it's good for the soul to get on a good horse.
Absolutely, and wonderful to have you here, Sylvia McLaughlin. Fantastic to see you, and we wish you the best of luck with your own horse. But Sylvia McLaughlin, one of our judges overlooking the costume.
Thanks so much.
Now, I also have another one of our wonderful judges talking about experience, Peter Hegney. Lindy Walker from Marina Stud have been wonderful competitors for many years. And Lindy, I know you judged at Brisbane Royal, I think it was last year. I had great success under you because I know what sort of horse you like. You like something that's correct and they've got to go. And how wonderful to have you here, Lindy. You have been a force to be reckoned with over many years. You know exactly what you're doing when it comes to judging. How have you found this year's Garryowen?
I found it very good, actually. The quality of riders was good. I think there's probably up to about half a dozen that could win it. You know, it's was very good.
For many years, I guess, the Garryowen is such a special class, and for many years, people have entered it. I think it's somewhat difficult, isn't it? And I suggest, I guess there's a suggestion in this that for those people that might not think they're good enough to win, just being out here is really special.
It is. It's a thrill to be out here and to be riding in memory of Violet. It's a wonderful event, and if you get a chance to do it, do it.
For many years, you and your late mother Maureen were wonderful and very competitive, wonderful competitors in the ring. Do you miss those days when you used to be out here riding? It was a lot of work. You had a huge team of horses. You had great success. There's a great photo that was going around Facebook of the horse up on one or two of its back legs, and a rider you were and are. Do those days, I guess they're really special for you. Do you miss those days?
They were very special to me, and we had some wonderful times. But I don't miss them. I think I've been burnt out. But no, they were fabulous days, and we've met so many wonderful people over the years too.
Now, you're here this year as well, judging the hacks, I believe, whilst you're out here as well. Is that what you're judging? Yeah, excellent. How have you found the Royal Show this year? Good.
I found the quality of novices yesterday was quite good. I love my little novice winner. He was a nice horse, went nice and easy, and he's a nice type of horse. I'm looking forward to judging the Opens tomorrow.
Well, fabulous to have you here, Lindy Walker. Good to see you again. And as I mentioned, somebody that absolutely knows what they're doing when it comes to judging. So fabulous to have you.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Well, Peter, I might see if I can catch up with some more of them as we get the preparations underway for the presentation. But as Lindy Walker said, a wonderful class. There could be a few people that take out this year's Garryowen, but fabulous to have all of our competitors here this year. Well, looks like I've got the next of the off the cab to go, and Sally Murrell-Rich talking about a special class. Sally, you know just how special this class is. You're a wonderful supporter of the Garryowen. This year's field, it might not be huge in number, but I tell you what, the competition is probably the best that I have seen in years. The number of people in this class that could take out this win this year, it's really special.
Yes, it is. The standard is extremely high, and especially the newcomers. I was really impressed. So it's, I know the number's down a little bit, but I think that the younger people are interested, and just to think about the earlier events on the Shetland turnouts and the turnouts with the little children, and they're the ones that we're hoping will be competing in the Garryowen.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Melbourne show is really special when it comes to turnouts. I know the other Royals have a turnout class here and there, but the turnouts, I guess the Shetland turnout is almost as competitive as the Garryowen, isn't it, when you come to put all the mothers in the mix as well as the children? But it is fabulous. Gemma Reeves-Single, one of our competitors out here, she won the junior turnouts and she's competing in the Garryowen. It's really special. A lot of our Victorian competitors, they keep competing those turnouts year in, year out, and getting here as a young rider, perhaps turning 18 or into those early years of their 20s, competing in the Garryowen. It really is wonderful to see those children coming through.
Yes, it is. And I think the more the children keep watching the Garryowen, most of the children that I've met are all wanting to do the Garryowen, and they're only 6-year-olds. So I think that's fantastic.
It's really special. Talking about special, the story of Violet Murrell, for those people that have been here in the showing community, they know the story. It really is a wonderful legacy, and it's great that people support that. And for many of our riders, it really is about the story of Violet Murrell.
Yes. Well, Violet was a really talented rider, but there were a lot of ladies that come to mind, and those ladies were the ones that when this terrible tragedy happened, when Violet and her horse and other horses got burnt in their stable, Violet actually rode on the racetrack. She was beating the men at Flemington, and the jockeys put up asking for her she shouldn't be competing because that was their domain, and so she was taken out of that, and Bill was they were working together as a team. They didn't want to have children, they just wanted to work with their horses. They loved their horses and their dogs.
It's so wonderful. Now, talk to me, I think it was last night, the Garryowen, the dinner or the luncheon or the formality that is, inducts people into the Hall of Fame. And last night was quite special, and I think Jason Ronald was telling me we had a wonderful addition to that last year with the previous winner of the Garryowen.
Yeah, and it's just so wonderful. You know, I'm not sure what year it actually started, but she would have been one of the first in the Garryowen. It's sort of like a fairy tale type story because it's a terrible tragedy, but because it is, it's remembered. And people who love animals and love horses just sort of cherish the fact that maybe actually compete in it.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Now, you're a wonderful supporter of the Garryowen as well. Are you also contributing this year?
Yes, of course. I've got for the winner a beautiful horseshoe with diamonds and sapphire. It's on a chain to go around their neck. And for the newcomer, there's a silver horseshoe on a chain around the neck with diamonds in it as well. And on the front is also the word Garryowen, and on the back I've got this year of our Royal Melbourne show, 175 years.
Absolutely special. Well, fabulous to have you here, Sally Murrell-Rich. Fabulous to have you here. We'll let you get ready because you are part of the proceedings for this afternoon, but wonderful to have you here at this year's Garryowen. I'm not going to ask you to give it away, but do you think you've got a winner in mind?
Yes.
Well, you do. Of course you do. Great to see you this year, Sally Murrell-Rich. Well, another special person that we have here at this year's show, I met you last year, Margaret Dorr. You are the grandniece of Violet Murrell. Talk to us about your inclusion in the Garryowen.
I'm here to represent my family because my grandmother was Violet's little sister. And when she passed over, Grandma used to come here every year and congratulate the winner. So I'm here to congratulate the winner, and I'm happy to say that I'll be giving $2,000 cash to the winner, but in honour of my family is the reason why I'm here. I mean, this is a great love story. A love story, not only that she loved her husband, but the story between the relationship between the horse and the rider. I think that is ornament of today's event, and I'm very honoured to be here.
It's absolutely wonderful. You know, I talk to the competitors down here on the arena, on the microphone, and have a chat to them. They really are about honouring and cherishing the memory of Violet Murrell. That is really special. I guess coming into a class like this, there is so much pressure, there's so many elements to it, but it really, underlies all of that, really is the story behind it.
Exactly, it is. And yeah, you're very honoured, and I'm so happy that the riders come here to compete and have so much passion, just not for the event itself, but the story behind it, and it's very heartfelt, very heartfelt.
Well, absolutely wonderful to have you here. Is that the $2,000 there?
Yes, it is.
Well, how about we split it and we go for a drink? Do you want it? No, okay, maybe not. Maybe all the blood, sweat and tears for the rider really is worth it.
Yeah, I think it will come handy to the rider.
Absolutely. Well, Margaret Dorr, wonderful to have you here. Congratulations again, and thanks for being a part of this year's Garryowen.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Well, another person that has been sent my way is Melissa Ware. And Mel, yeah, you're from Off the Track?
Yes, I'm here from Racing Victoria as the General Manager of Equine Welfare.
Fantastic to have you here. You've been doing a wonderful job. I go to all of the royals, or many royals around the country, and we talk about the thoroughbreds being celebrated, but nobody does it like Racing Victoria does it here, and the wonderful support that is thrown behind the thoroughbreds in a life after racing.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind. At Racing Victoria and the racing industry, we're really committed and we're really passionate about life after racing and creating pathways for all racehorses, all retired racehorses, in all different disciplines all across the state.
For many people that don't know, talk to us about how that happens. A portion of the prize money is attributed to the life after racing?
Absolutely. So we have an equine welfare fund that takes a percentage of prize money, and we are able to put that into our equine welfare program. So we're really committed to supporting horses before, during and after racing, and being here at Melbourne Royal is a really great example of some of our sponsorship that we put into post-racing and show horses.
Now, we do like Off the Tracks, not only here in Victoria but around the country. A wonderful event, supporting the highest placed off the track horse.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are really passionate about aligning with some of the greatest events that Melbourne Royal has to offer, and to be here on Garryowen Day is really amazing.
Absolutely wonderful. Have you checked out the field of the off-the-track horses? Who do you got an idea who you think it might be?
Well, we support all racehorses, but obviously we work really closely with Fee McIntyre, who's a wonderful ambassador for off-the-track horses. She's previously been an ambassador of our program, and she just takes on so many horses and does a really quality job of retraining them. And I was just down at Fee's place just last week, and it's always wonderful to see all the horses that she's got in the paddock that she's creating pathways for.
Yeah, future superstars from the racetrack to the show ring. Fabulous as well to have a New Zealand competitor on one of those thoroughbreds of Fees this year. Really special, and I guess from a marketing point of view, that's a kind of dream, isn't it? Something like that, such a, I guess, an obscure kind of position coming through to the Garryowen.
Absolutely. The more riders, international, interstate, the better.
Absolutely wonderful. Well, Mel, great to have you here this year, and thanks for your contribution.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Another wonderful supporter is the Wagner family, and Peter Wagner is a man that I love chatting to. He's got a dry sense of humour that I absolutely love. But Pete, I see you've been making the socials quite often lately as well in the workshop. I guess you are doing some work. I thought it was all just fun and games for you.
Does prove I make it here in Australia. That was the reason I started doing it. But yes, I'm getting 70, 80,000 hits in one day now.
You're going viral, Pete.
I hope not.
Now, wonderful to have you here. A class like this, the Garryowen, you have been involved in this class for many years. When Caro was a competitor, you've got plenty of your clients that come here every year. They come to you and Caro for advice. Wonderful to have you supporting a class like this. But I've spoken to our competitors. We talked to our judges. There is nothing like this competition anywhere in Australia. It's really special. And I guess, I'm not a Victorian I was from Sydney, but I guess I'm an adopted Victorian. It's really special for the people of Victoria, this class.
Everybody knows the Garryowen. Like Caroline's mentioned to people that are outside the horse industry that, she's won champion to hack at, say, Sydney Royal or Melbourne even, and they go, yeah, but you placed in the Garryowen. That was a particular year that Caroline placed. Didn't mean anything, the champion hack, but everybody knows about the Garryowen, even if they're not horse people.
It's really special, this class, with a number of judges, all of the elements coming into consideration. Your element that you specialise in yourself, being the saddlery, that's really important as well. What is it like when you're preparing somebody for the Garryowen? Where do you start with somebody? If somebody comes to you and says, I want to compete in the Garryowen, where do you start?
Tomorrow. We've got 3 people already booked in for next year. But it's Caroline. There's more pressure on Caroline, because we have our own tailor, and we import all the fabrics from Europe, and we have the top boots made in Germany. So top boots are the first thing that we start with, and they'll be measured up tomorrow. Then we import the fabrics. The saddlery doesn't start till about May next year. They'll start to get prepared for the saddlery. But the clothing, they start from tomorrow.
So you wouldn't want to have a Christmas diet and have too much pudding and too much at Christmas to try and keep your shape. How important is it to get all of that fit right? You do the first measurements. How many times do you go through those, I guess the checking and the rechecking and the alterations that need to happen leading up to the event?
3 to 4 fittings, but we don't finish the last fitting till about a month from the Royal, because if we finish, there's a lot more work to do something alteration wise if it's finished. So if it's 90% finished, then we can tweak it. We put them on the scales, tell them that's the weight they've got to stay at or work to. So many people, their boots don't fit and things like that. But Caroline used to get on the scales 2 or 3 months before the Royal, if everything was a little bit tight, and do something about it.
It really does matter, doesn't it? Everything. If you're going to come into a class like this and be competitive, everything matters. All of that sort of thing really needs to be on point, doesn't it? No doubt you stand out here and you watch the competitors come into the ring and you might glance over them. You're not standing here having the look that the judges have, but you are getting a look of those horses and riders as they come into the ring. There's probably things that you notice that could make the difference between, ending up at the top of the line or down in the placings.
100%. Yes, you've really... Look, it's just one mark. One mark can make the difference. Like, I know Caroline won 4 Garryowens, but she also lost 2 on countback. One year, there were 5, all equal first. And then the other time she was lost on a countback, there was only 2 that were equal first. But that came down to, I think one was the riding that particular time, but wasn't really luckily the saddlery. Otherwise I'd have been in trouble. But we did find a draw the other day that Caroline still holds the highest score in the Garryowen. 176 out of 200. Sorry, 196 out of 200.
Yeah, fabulous. Now, Pete, you're also a wonderful supporter of the up-and-coming young riders. I mentioned to Sally Murrell-Rich about the young riders that start in the junior turnouts. You've been contributing and offering wonderful prizes to those young riders as well. It's great to see them here. I mentioned earlier, Melbourne show's really special when it comes to turnouts. We see them here every year, and a lot of the riders, the young riders, start in the Shetland turnout. They work through the junior turnouts, the Pemberton, the KG Luke, and then they get their way up to the Garryowen. It really is. Melbourne show's really special when it comes to turnouts, and you're a wonderful supporter of those young riders as well through the ranks.
That's our future. The future of our sport is there. They might not all go into showing later on, but they'll do eventing, show jumping, but they all start. The grassroots is right here. Like, there's so many people that are doing other disciplines besides Caroline and Marie Tompkinson. I could name so many. You know, Caroline Lieutenant, who won the Garryowen. They were all show riders back then, and then took a different path later in life. But they've all started here, and some of them would have started back in the Shetland classes.
Wonderful. You can take the rider out of the show ring, but you can't take the showy out of the rider, can you? You see a lot of those people that might be competing in other disciplines, but the way they present their horses, it's often like a hack, and you can notice with the patterns or the makeup and the way they present them.
Oh, for sure. And I think I lost $100 in sales today because I stuck up near the water truck to watch a couple of horses go, because, of course, out of the, I think 18 that started, Caroline dressed 14. That's why she doesn't get to present or watch the class, because she still does a lot of work behind the scenes. She was up most of the night stressing that everybody had things, right down to she even cleaned the stirrup bars on someone's saddle this morning. That's how worried Caroline was about the competitors.
Absolutely wonderful. Wonderful, though, to see you two still involved in helping our young riders coming through. There's a lot in the Garryowen when it comes down to it, and having the experience of you two really is wonderful to have you here year in, year out.
Yeah, thank you. But Caroline and I don't have children, so this is our big family, because these are people we wouldn't see socially, but we see every year. So, you know, I want to stay part of it as long as I can.
Absolutely wonderful. Well, Peter Wagner from Wagner Saddlery, wonderful to have you here, Peter. Wonderful to have the many people that have contributed to the success and the history of the Garryowen over many years being a part of this year's Garryowen. All right, I'm going to catch up with Senator Bridget McKenzie after I think we've got a little bit of a valet to Violet Murrell. We'll play some video and getting ready, the final preparations for the presentation. Wonderful riders in this year's Garryowen. Fabulous to have all of the people supporting the wonderful history of the Garryowen being represented again this year in 2023.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Melbourne Royal Show family would like to pay our respects to the contributions made to our show by the following people who have passed away over the past year. Jack Weston Ray, OAM, Royal Melbourne Agricultural Show Ringmaster, 1984 to 1995. Medal of Order of Australia awarded for his service to the primary industry. Former Victorian Agricultural Societies Association President. Wilma Hearn, competitor and judge at the Melbourne Royal Show and Garryowen winner of 1969. Leslie Wilkinshaw, long-term supporter of Melbourne Royal Show. Lola Anderson, honorary life member of Equestrian Australia and former judge and successful rider at the Melbourne Royal Show. Max Marriott, Melbourne Royal Life Counsellor, President's Medal recipient, honorary life member of Melbourne Royal Show, long-time supporter of the Clydesdale section, Melbourne Royal Show. Kristen Marriott, also a long-time Clydesdale exhibitor and long-time supporter of the Melbourne Royal Show.
Mr. Max Towns, veteran horseman, show jump rider for Royal Melbourne Show.
Is this your family's hut or something? Or is it
Kathleen Cust, long-time sponsor, exhibitor, steward, contributor and member of the Melbourne Royal Show. Winner of the ladies riding competition and competing since 1960. Champion qualified Hunter Sash winner in 2022. The Noel Mason Memorial Hunters Plate winner of 2022.
Mr. Ian Ruff, Royal Agricultural Society of Victoria Councillor, 1991. Former chairman of the Finance Committee, Management, Woodshop and Horse Committee member, Melbourne Royal Show. Successful Hunt Club Teams rider.
And Kevin Glover. Kevin worked at the Royal Melbourne Show for over 50 years, both as a ring steward and as a mounted marshal in the main arena. He was awarded life membership in 1995 and retired from the arena in 2015.
Well, I know the proceedings are about to get underway, and I can see the team preparing everybody for that presentation. But before we get to that, I've got a very special lady down here who is supporting this year's event, but previous Garryowen winner and wonderful competitor in Victoria Laurie. Queen Vic, great to have you here. You love coming and checking out this show, this class, don't you, the Garryowen? You've got wonderful success and a wonderful history with this event that you've enjoyed success in, but really special seeing our young lady riders come out into a class like this.
I think it's an aspiration for everyone, and I think it's a wonderful event, and I have got so much out of it. I really like to contribute back, and I wish everyone luck because it's the hardest event to win.
It kind of does come down to luck, doesn't it? At the end of it, you can do all the preparation you like. You can, dot the I's and cross the T's. There's lots of elements to add, but coming out onto the arena, the luck is that little bit that you can't control.
That's exactly right. You can have everything perfect, and I always say a point's a point, but when you get out that work area, it's your riding and your horse that really count. And I have to say, if your horse has got to go, and he's got to be a show horse, I think that's an epitome to me. I love to see a general appearance picture that looks a winner.
It is hard, isn't it? For many of these riders, probably less experienced, they kind of get out here and they want to make sure everything is so perfect, but it's also got to be worn in, doesn't it? There's a balance between being worn in and being able to ride your horse like you would in a hack class, but also looking like you are the part in the Garryowen.
I always say you can never ride in your turnout saddle enough. And I rode in mine lots. I kept the same saddle for years, and I just believe people don't ride in them because they think they're going to mark them. Well, if I was judging saddle in a saddle had a wear mark, would not worry me because I believe a saddle's to be ridden in.
Talking about saddles, wonderful to have the support of yourself and County Saddleries supporting.
The winners do well, but I love to support the people that are aspiring to get in, and it might just give someone a leg up. And Mel Wallow is so generous with it, and we've both worked hard to get it here. And I thank Melbourne Show for accepting it, and I hope it can go on for a while.
Wonderful to have all of our riders this year. There's some very top-end competitors this year, Vic. I've said earlier, I think this year is probably one of the best that we've got. There's a few of our young riders that have had success over many years that, they've risen to the top of the sport and they really are wonderful competitors. It's great to have the field out here this year.
I think it's a very strong top end. Very, very strong. And by watching them, most of them went well. So I wish them all the luck and I hope the best one wins it and they enjoy it.
Absolutely wonderful. Victoria Laurie, great to have you here. I better let you go. I think you've got County Saddlery, Victoria Laurie and Mel Waller from County Saddlery contributing to this year's Garryowen. Well, I guess our judges have made their decisions. Our wonderful team are getting ready for the presentation this afternoon. Charlotte Littlefield is here down on the arena. Peter Hegney, it really is so special. Congratulations to all of our competitors. And as Victoria Laurie said, the best of luck.
Gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to the 89th Garryowen Equestrienne Turnout presentation. My name is Charlotte Littlefield and I have the pleasure of being your host for today's presentation. Please join me in welcoming our official party to the presentation area. Please put your hands together for Garryowen winner, guest presenter and Melbourne Royal Director Catherine Ainsworth. Senator Bridget McKenzie. Jason Ronald, OAM, Melbourne Royal Director. Brad Jenkins, Melbourne Royal CEO. Sally Murrell-Rich, supporter and grandniece of Violet Murrell. Marguerite Dorr, supporter and also grandniece of Violet Murrell. Melissa Ware, Racing Victoria Off the Track General Manager, Equine Welfare Premier Supporter. Peter Wagner, Wagner's Saddlery, also a supporter. Steve Russell of Cedar Lodge. Lynn Milburn, Garryowen Garland supporter. Over 200 roses in that garland. We can't wait to see it presented to that winner. Michelle Bird of Michelle Bird Equine Art. Stuart McKinnon, son of Marion McKinnon, the McKinnon Medallion. Do we have Mrs. Mitchell and Mrs. Draper here? Nope. We've got Lynn Lawler, representing International Animal Health. Vicky Laurie, County Saddlery, Australia Ambassador. Now let's welcome all of our judges and stewards to the arena. Judges and stewards, Judge Lindy Walker, riding judge, and steward Tony Norris. Judge Simon Bray, confirmation and soundness, and steward Di Warboys. Judge Rebecca Jenkins, manners and paces, and steward Liz Porter. Judge Christine Mallinson, saddlery, and steward Narida Sadler and Kalara Moody. Judges Sharon Lewis Tipping, general appearance, Sylvia McLaughlin, costume, and stewards Moya Jess and Joanne Claverino. Leanne Taranto, steward and committee member. Dean Matthews, committee member and chief steward. Now let us welcome the competitors back onto the arena. This year we were delighted to have 18 entrants, and 7 of whom we've seen competing for the first time. And as usual, competition has been of an extremely high quality. What a spectacle. I don't think anybody would disagree with saying that these are the most elite turned out horses and riders you'll ever see. So huge congratulations to every single participant who has put in hours and hours and days and even probably months of preparation to get here. To begin today's presentation ceremony, ladies and gentlemen, please stand and welcome to the stage to sing the national anthem, Imogen Spend Love.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a huge round of applause to Imogen Spend Love, and let's also give a huge welcome to our competitors. Please be seated. Competitors, members of the Murrell family, past winners, judges and stewards, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Melbourne Royal, welcome to the 89th Garryowen Equestrienne Turnout. We are pleased to honour these outstanding riders who have competed in the Garryowen today. I'd like to make a special thank you to our event sponsors. Firstly, to our premier supporter, Racing Victoria Off the Track, the grandnieces of Violet Murrell, Marguerite Dorr and Sally Murrell Rich, to Wagner's Saddlery, and also to Lynn Milburn Garlands, Cedar Park Equine Products, Michelle Bird, the Mitchell and Draper families, International Animal Health and County Saddlery Australia. Thank you all for your valued support. Now please turn your attention to the main screen for a brief video from the presenting sponsors, Racing Victoria Off the Track.
It might not be obvious while you're enjoying your horse's racing career, but it's never too early to consider their retirement plan. Whether it's resetting horses for a second career, sponsoring equestrian events, or supporting our acknowledged retrainer network, Racing Victoria's Off the Track team can help. Visit the Off the Track community to start planning your horse's second career.
I'd like to welcome our special guest who is presenting the winner of the 89th Garryowen, Catherine Ainsworth. We are delighted to have you here with us today. You can stand. I'd also like to acknowledge and thank our Horses in Action Committee. I'd also like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the 2023 Garryowen Hall of Fame inductees. Horse inductee, and I might get this pronunciation wrong, Don Quixote. There we go. Quixote. Thank you. Don Quixote. We have the rider inductee Marie Tompkinson. And exceptional service inductee Moya Jess. Thank you all. Let's give them a huge round of applause. The Horses in Action program celebrates the finest riders and horses in the country, attracting over 1,700 entries, and is a feature of the Melbourne Royal Show. Turnout Day in the Garryowen is a highlight of the extensive 11-day program, which allows breeders, owners and riders to benchmark against the best of the best. The Garryowen is intrinsically linked with Victorian history, and it is incredible that the 89-year tradition has been upheld today. The story of Violet Murrell, the accomplished horse rider and the jockey who is commonly known as the Queen of Racing, secured her place in history as a true ambassador for women in the equestrian and racing industries. This event was first held in 1934 following the tragic death of Violet, who courageously sought to save her three-time Melbourne Royal Show champion winning horse Garryowen from a stable fire. The Garryowen remains the most prestigious equestrian event in Australia, and we congratulate
all of our competitors today on their efforts. To begin our presentations today, I'd like to invite Vicky Laurie, an ambassador for County Saddlery, Australia, for our special Garryowen Lucky Prize draw. The winner of this draw will receive a County Turnout saddle worth $8,000. You could step forward, Vicky. Now, Vicky is a multiple Garryowen winner herself, so it's great to have you here. I feel I'm in esteemed company.
Thank you, Charlotte. Yes, it's great to be here. I love this event. Of all the ones I've won, I have to say the 50th was the best, but it's always been a great event.
Now, I believe you have the winner.
I will have it in a second.
Will? Oh, we're going to draw it right now
We're gonna
live.
draw it, yes,
So there's
live.
no cheating here.
We hope not. Kristen Brennan, Just Magical Dreams.
Well done, Kristen.
Kristen, well done.
Congratulations. It's my pleasure to announce the winner of the inaugural Garryowen Lucky Prize Draw at the Melbourne Royal Show 89th Garryowen Equestrienne Turnout. Well done. That will keep her coming back for Garryowens for many years to come. Ladies and gentlemen, let's once again congratulate our Lucky Draw inaugural prize winner. I'd like to now invite Melissa Ware from Racing Victoria off the track to announce the highest place off the track thoroughbred. Come and join me. You look beautiful today. Lovely dress. Just having a technical glitch. We'll be there shortly. We have a competitor number. We're just waiting on the name. I'm sure the competitor who has won this will know who they are. Can you announce the number? Let's go.
The winner is number 1149.
Oh, doesn't know the number. Just here, 1149. We'll have a name to you very shortly. Natalie McKay on St Andrews. Congratulations. So congratulations, Natalie, on riding St Andrews, on being the best performing off-the-track thoroughbred in this year's Garryowen Equestrienne Turnout. In recognition of their great performance, Racing Victoria are pleased to provide you with $500 and an off-the-track branded rug. Additionally, Natalie will receive a corporate hospitality package for 4 guests in the Mackay Diva marquee on Champion Stakes Day, courtesy of Victoria Racing Club. That will be fun. Ladies and gentlemen, let's once again congratulate our highest place off the track thoroughbred. Congratulations, Natalie McKay, St Andrews. I'd like to now invite all of the first-year competitors to step forward to receive a commemorative medallion presented by Marguerite Dorr, grandniece of Violet Murrell and assisted by board member Jason Ronald. The medallions have been generously supported by the Mitchell and Draper families. The best first-year rider will also receive a sterling silver diamond custom-made brooch supported by Sally Murrell-Rich, valued at $700, made by Melbourne Jewellery Service. So our first-year riders, we have Lauren Ellery, Philippa Whitaker, Olivia O'Reilly, Jessica Durtell, and Alana Richards. Oh, Kate Halliday and Gemma Reeve Singles. So as I announced before, there is a prize for the best first-year rider. They will receive that sterling silver diamond custom-made brooch, $250 voucher from Wagner's Saddlery, a cotton trophy rug from Cedar Lodge, and a product pack from International Animal Health. Thank you, Marguerite and Jason. And it is now my pleasure to announce the best first-year competitor of the Melbourne Royal Show's 89th Garryowen Equestrienne Turnout. It is Kate Halliday on Kalimna Quick Hit. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give our congratulations to Kate Halliday and Kalimna Quit Hit. Assisted by HIA committee member Dean Matthews and board member Jason Ronald, who is presenting the winning sash. We do actually have an additional prize here, which is a beautiful diamond encrusted necklace with the words Garryowen written on it, and that's being presented by Sally Murrell-Rich. Thank you, Sally. Congratulations. I'd now like to introduce the McKinnon Medallion. This medallion is awarded in recognition of Marion McKinnon, Garryowen Hall of Fame inductee, Garryowen historian and author of 2 Garryowen books, and Melbourne Royal President's Medal recipient. The McKinnon Medallion is awarded to the highest scoring Garryowen competitor over 45 years of age, and the 89th Garryowen is the second year this award will be presented. The medallion and $250 worth of prizes have been generously supported by International Animal Health. And it is now my pleasure to announce the McKinnon Medallion winner of the Melbourne Royal Show's 89th Garryowen Equestrian Turnout, Melissa Gillies, beyond reasonable doubt. For a few photos before, hasn't he? Well done, Melissa. Congratulations. And her beautiful horse, beyond reasonable doubt. Now, we'll move on to presenting the awards. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the lectern guest presenter, Catherine Ainsworth. You can come up now.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, riders and horse enthusiasts alike. It's an honour to be here today as we gather to celebrate and remember a tradition deeply entrenched in our DNA here at Melbourne Royal. The illustrious Garryowen Equestrienne Turnout, a representation of riding mastery and elegance. The Garryowen is to show riding what the Melbourne Cup is to horse racing. Next year marks a monumental 90 years since the inception of this esteemed competition. It's a competition born from the ashes of profound tragedy, and now one of the most venerated events and coveted trophies for female show horse riders in Australia. As the recently retired CEO of Pony Club Australia and the current Deputy President of Melbourne Royal, I staunchly believe in the timeless significance of competitions like this. Celebrations of horsemanship, historical richness and unparalleled excellence are pivotal, now more than ever, fostering a sense of community, camaraderie, challenge and unity. Every little girl with a show pony harbours that singular dream to not only compete in the revered Garryowen, but to triumph in it. The roster of winning mounts is diverse, featuring blue blood thoroughbreds to those possessing a touch of Clydesdale or riding pony. The journey to competition is long and begins long before the day itself. Riders invest years in educating their mounts, ensuring every detail from the horse's gear to the rider's attire is pristine. It is a meticulous endeavour where not a hair on horse or human is out of place. The Garryowen is Australia's paramount turnout class, and today we witness a new name etched into history. This name will join the ranks of legendary horsewomen like Violet Laurie, Helen Hegney and Caroline Wagner, shaping the equestrian landscape of Australia. Moreover, the name will become synonymous with the legendary Violet Murrell, an iconic equestrienne renowned across Australia. Violet's multifaceted riding prowess knew no bounds, conquering various disciplines with unparalleled competence and versatility. Her journey was marked by countless trophies, an unrelenting passion for horses, and a gift for communicating with animals, reminiscent of her father. Violet's journey, although radiant, was also short-lived, leaving us at the tender age of 29. Yet her legacy remains vibrant, epitomising love, bravery, determination and philanthropy. Today, through this event, we salute Violet's enduring legacy and her heart horse, Garryowen. This event is more than a prestigious turnout class. It is a reminder of a role model, a world-class equestrian, and a woman of profound kindness and love. In the spirit of Violet, we're also reminded of the importance of manners and the importance of thanking all of the sponsors for this and other equestrian events at Melbourne Royal. A message to all of the winners that a tag on social media is good, but a personal note of thanks to the sponsor is better. And now it is with immense pleasure that I announce the results of the Garryowen in its 89th year.
Okay. Catherine, let's start with 6th place. Get you to announce 6th place here.
In 6th place, Siriana, ridden by Jessica Durtell.
Congratulations, Jessica. Congratulations to our 6th place getter, who is being sashed by Sharon Lewis-Tipping, our general appearance judge, and Sylvia McLaughlin, our costume judge. They are being assisted by stewards Moya Jess and Joanne Clavarino. And in 5th place, Catherine.
In 5th place, Kalimna Quick Hit, ridden by Kate Halliday.
Congratulations to our 5th place getter, Kate Halliday, who is being sashed by Christine Mallinson, saddlery judge, and assisted by steward Narita Sadler and Kalara Moody. Place, please, Catherine.
In 4th place, St Andrews, ridden by Natalie McKay.
Very popular 4th place getter there, and what a beautiful horse St Andrews is. And a great job transitioning off the track to the show ring. Natalie McKay is being sashed by Rebecca Jenkins and Manners and Paces judge, and assisted by steward and committee member Liz Porter. Catherine, 3rd place, please.
Ultimate PPH, ridden by Ali Berwick.
Another stunning duo there. Congratulations, Ali. Ali will be sashed by Simon Bray, confirmation and soundness judge, and assisted by steward Di Warboys. Feel the tension mounting, Catherine. We're almost there. 2 place getters left to go. please let us know who is in second place.
In second place, Wainara's Signature, ridden by Bryony Lee.
I thought this combination looked magnificent in the arena, performing their workout. So congratulations, Bryony Lee. She's being sashed by Lindy Walker, riding judge, and is being assisted by steward Tony Norris. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. This is the moment. Catherine, please let us know who is the winner of the 89th Garryowen Equestrienne Turnout at the 2023 Melbourne Royal Show. Magic. Build up here, and we have a very deserving winner. Can you please announce the winner, Catherine?
The winner to be sashed by Senator Bridget McKenzie. Verdict by direction, Jessica Stalling.
What an outstanding result. It is my absolute privilege to announce the winner of the 2023 Garryowen Equestrian Turnout. Coming up to be sashed now, Jessica Stalling. What an absolute picture of perfection. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, as is customary every year with the Garryowen, the winning horse receives a beautiful floral garland which is being presented today by its creator Lynn Milburn and assisted by Jason Ronald, Melbourne Royal Board member and Dean Matthews Horses in Action Committee member. This magnificent 89th anniversary garland has been custom designed and handmade by Lynn Milburn Garlands with over 200 roses. the 2023 Garryowen Equestrienne Turnout also receives a 9K gold diamond custom-made pin, handcrafted by Melbourne Jewellery Service, valued at $2,300, supported by Sally Murrell-Rich, the grandniece of the late Violet Murrell. It's a beautiful gold pendant. It's actually very, very beautiful. I don't mind putting it myself. We've also got a $2,000 prize money supported by Marguerite Dorr Glass, the grandniece of the late Violet Murrell. A $1,000 prize money supported by Wagner's Saddlery. A portrait valued at $1,000 supported by Michelle Bird Equine Art. A trophy rug supported by Cedar Lodge Equine Products. Saddle cloth supported by Racing Victoria Limited. Plus the Perpetual Trophy, which is right in front, centre and square, and the Melbourne Royal Sash. Get Jessica to come over and hopefully just say a couple of words. Congratulations. Please give Jessica a round of applause. Congratulations on a magnificent win. You're getting more and more prizes. How do you feel?
I feel pretty overwhelmed. Yeah, wow, I'm not really sure where to start. Definitely a huge privilege and honour to win such a prestigious event, in honour of Violet Murrell, who has tragically lost saving Garryowen back in 1934. I was only thinking the other day that how interesting it would have been if her and I were around in the same era, doing multiple disciplines and things like that. I think we probably would have got on well, but we probably would have been fairly fierce competitors against each other. Yeah, as everyone out here who has competed in the Garryowen before knows the years, months, everything down to the final seconds of blood, sweat and tears that go into preparing for an event like this. Not just from the gear, but also with the training of the horse. You can't leave a stone unturned and have to make sure that everything is perfect. You can't really afford to lose a point anywhere. I guess it is a riding competition, but you do have to have the perfect gear and the best possible horse and ride well. Definitely a big thanks to all the sponsors. There's a lot of sponsors this class. The prizes are incredible, and feel very privileged to win all of these. A huge thanks to everyone behind the scenes that brought this together today for me and Verdict by Direction. Sorry, I definitely will forget someone, but firstly, a huge thanks to Melissa Gillies, who also was lucky enough to win the Over 45 award. She's the owner of Bling, and I thank her immensely for allowing me to ride the horse. I've been privileged enough to campaign him for most of his career. He was bought as a young horse by Bronwyn Short, and then Mel soon snapped him up as a show horse. And then he was started off his showing career with Amanda Madigan, and then I was handed the reins, and we've had some very successful years together, and hopefully a few more to come. Big thank you to Caroline and Peter Wagner, especially Caroline, for your special saddle and all the other gear and my countless questions and answers and all these little things. Vienna for platting, Kate, Dom, Sarah, Kerry, Winnie. A huge thanks to my mum and dad, especially my mum. She's definitely the backbone for this operation when it comes to the Garryowen. I think I get it from her. Her attention to detail is, second to none. She's been very particular about everything, and I think that really shows. And I couldn't thank her anymore. She's amazing, and I'm blessed to have her in my life. Family, big thanks to my little girl out there. She's my #1 supporter and my harshest critic. She, makes me get out of bed every day, and I'm lucky to have her. And especially to my dear friends, Kate, Dom, and Aaron, for everything they do for me. I wouldn't be here without you guys. And lastly, a big thanks to Bling. He's one amazing horse, I'm lucky to call him mine for the ride.
Congratulations, thank you. A lady of many talents and also a role model to many. So well done, your name is etched in history, and we look forward to seeing you back here next year. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, and congratulations to all the other competitors as well. It was not a huge field, but a very, very strong field.
Absolutely. We would just like to acknowledge all of our 2023 Garryowen Equestrian competitors once again as we bid farewell to all of our unplaced entrants. Thank you. We're now going to mount up for a lap of honour. And we want to hear everybody get out of their seats and give them a huge round of applause. We're going to follow the red coats again, thank you. You do a wonderful job in keeping everything running smoothly. Everybody please stand, put your hands together, and give our winner, Jessica, a huge round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes today's Garryowen presentation. Once again, we sincerely thank Catherine, our distinguished guests, judges and stewards, presenters, supporters, and of course, all of the competitors. We trust you enjoyed the presentation, and we look forward to returning next year for the milestone 90th Garryowen Equestrienne Turnout at the 2024 Melbourne Royal Show. It was my pleasure to be your host today for the 89th Garryowen Equestrienne Turnout, presented by Racing Victoria Off the Track. Thank you. Once these horses have finished their lap of honour, please turn your attention to the big screen.
It might not be obvious while you're enjoying your horse's racing career, but it's never too early to consider their retirement plan.
Well, a big
Whether
thank
it's
you indeed
resetting
to
horses for
Charlotte
a second
Littlefield down
career,
there for
sponsoring
emceeing our
equestrian
Garryowen
events,
presentation.
or supporting our acknowledged retrainer network, Racing Victoria's Off the Track team can help. Visit the Off the Track community to start planning your horse's second career.
Well, again, a big thank you indeed to Charlotte Littlefield. Now, we're going to hear from Charlotte a little later, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have a break now for a little while, but during that break, we have a special presentation.